Oh, my God. Donald Trump tweeted, this morning, Joe and Mika, who owe their careers to me, went on their show to claim to have met with me. They made it sound like we had a summit. The truth is, Joe begged to meet with me after our big win. For some reason, only the B and the W are capitalized, but okay. And when I finally agreed, he approached me like a scolded dog. He should consider himself lucky I didn't have him thrown out of beautiful Mar-a-Lago. Mika was charming as usual.
He wants to F her.
What's that?
He wants to F her.
She's too old.
My God.
She's really pretty, though.
How personal has he made it with them? He's called her a dumb bitch. I don't know how many times, essentially. Talked about her facelift, and you have a program called Know Your Value? Oh, my God. I mean...
She was lovely when she was on this show, though.
She was very nice.
Yeah.
She was funny.
I thought they were on our side. I'm like, oh, see, you were right about those ex-Republicans. They're going to sting me afterwards.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, here's the thing that, everybody is saying. Dino Badala wrote a great piece. We're going to have him on tomorrow. First of all, we all can tell you why the ratings have been down. First of all, nobody liked the liberal, quote-unquote, network beating up on Joe Biden. As I mentioned many times, only Lawrence O'Donnell's ratings went up. Clyde's digging a little hole.
Where are you digging to?
He's digging a little hole to China, where Morning Joe did a piece about how authoritarianism is winning there. They're jailing all the journalists and stuff. Isn't that weird?
Okay. He's trying to dig a hole to China, but he's ending up in Pacoima. What's going on?
He's small. He has little claws.
He's also not very bright.
He is not. That is not
adorable.
We are going to be respectful of each other, despite the fact that Chris is always wrong. Oh, I mean, just that we have differing views.
He doesn't feel well still. We have to be nice to him.
Okay, Chris does not feel well. He's had the flu for several days.
Be nice to him, people.
People were mad at you because you weren't nice to Anita. And we love our Anita from San Antonio, who is one of our longtime beloveds. We're going through a very difficult period, all of us. Everybody's very tired. We're exhausted. Some of us are getting sick because we're exhausted.
I just don't like complete strangers telling me who I can be friends with. That's all.
I know. We're just talking about tone and respect for each other. Yes, you are. It's up to you who you want to, which fascist you want to be friends with. Okay, so.
Wow, Stephanie Louise.
I'm kidding.
You're supposed to be
Listen,
nice
if we
just
lose
now.
our sense of humor, we lose everything. All right, here's my point about. Seriously, they think this is going to help their ratings on the liberal channel to go. It is so stunning, and you knew that was on cue. And Fox News, of course, is running with it like crazy, going, "Oh, they're lucky he even let them crawl down here to beg forgiveness." Are you kidding me? I'm telling you what liberals don't want to watch. I'm their target audience. I can tell you what. They don't want to watch any more beating up on Democrats.
Right.
Instead of where the blame largely belongs, and they're part of it. This is why people don't trust mainstream media. Because you already sane-washed and normalized Trump and all of his lies that, disinformation was the number one factor. I don't want to hear any of this bull anymore about eggs. I just don't. It's part of it. It's not. Yeah. I'm tired of it's all of it. And we've got to be the ones to beat ourselves and flagellate ourselves when you've got a autocrat like this. Okay. By the way, is this not the biggest middle finger to the American people? All of his picks, yeah. Donald Trump, right? I mean,
pretty much.
Yeah. Lots of folks on the. Scarborough. I did tune in today. First of all, the first thing I saw was Petting Noonan. All right, I am out.
Did she have the little birds or wine birds flying around her?
These Chardonnay canaries. Yes. But he dismissed backlash over their visit as proof of the massive disconnect between social media and the real world. It's not just social media. That's why your ratings are in the toilet.
Right.
Because you started beating up trans people and God knows what else after the election and Democrats. And so his ratings are in the toilet and he thinks kissing Trump's ass is going to help.
It's not going to help.
Oh, my God. So anyway, that's just so dismissive, too. It's just, it's only social media. No, it's not social media. It is. Anyway, I am the target audience there. And I've been seeing that for, months and months. I'm not surprised about their ratings because that's what a lot of people are saying. Hold, please. Yes. Oh, who is this on Twitter? Apparently, Mika doesn't know her worth after all. Thank you. Like, women over 50 are supposed to know their worth. That looks so Oh my God, crawling back to an abusive
kidding.
spouse, didn't it? It just. Joe Walsh, who has not stung us yet, by the way,
Not yet.
said
He
good
can-
morning.
He still could.
He just said good morning. Do not normalize him. Resist. Have a wonderful day. Thank you, Joe. Ronald Filipowski on Threads. I'm sure it's a brilliant strategy for Morning Joe to say to people checking in on social media for 30 minutes before they get ready and head off to work or after they get home, don't live in the real world. Unlike the real world of TV in New York and D.C., we're out of touch. They're not. I see. Yeah, Joe Scarborough, who wouldn't know the price of eggs or bacon if his life depended on
He
it.
wouldn't.
Really? We're out of touch. You're the... Please. Thank you. Joe tweets, they made Harris climb uphill and then poured cauldrons of grease in her path. That's what happened. Thank you.
Yep.
They held her to an impossible standard and
Yes,
him
they
to
did.
none. It's just, I'm so sick of this. Okay. Hold, please. Oh, this one's for us, Jody. Adam, I don't know what that noise was you just made.
That one?
Yeah, just about everything. Adam said, if someone tells you to calm down, tell them to off.
Yeah.
We're not getting shushed by civility holes ever again. Seriously? People have tried to overturn the government and literally on the Capitol and have been whining about, they didn't really lose for 4 years now. We're supposed, and it's calling us every kind of name. And my what do you call it? Homophobic friend is back.
Oh, Tim, whatever his
Yes.
name. Tom.
Tom.
He
Oh,
did call you
Stan.
bulimic again.
Oh, I know.
So you're skinny.
Yeah. He's back to bulimic ditch liquor.
That's nice.
Yeah. Who's the other one? Stan says, when he deports all the illegals, the price of housing is going to go way down.
Huh?
All right, Stan. Yeah, that's it.
Good luck with that.
Tim Threads, Morning Joe, ratings are down. Also Morning Joe. So let's alienate our remaining base and go kiss the ring in Mar-a-Lago. Anchorless. Threads, Joe and Mika are at the point in the abusive relationship where they think they can change him. We all know how this ends. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's on and on. Dean wrote a whole great piece. I thought he was on this morning, but he's on tomorrow because we're doing some switcheroos.
Malcolm will be on Thursday.
Yeah. I love was it a Washington Post headline? Donald Trump is the greatest threat to America.
Washington Post, finally.
Yeah, now a warning.
Yeah.
In their,
Finally.
they didn't endorse.
Now a warning?
Now they like you to know that this might be
A bad idea.
a problem. Excuse me.
Could have helped.
Oh, now they're also all over the election stuff, by the way. Michelle tweets, the Washington Post obtained details about a $45 million plan run by Elon Musk's advisors to target black, Jewish, Muslim voters and others with misdirection ads, often containing falsehoods about her positions. This is, as somebody was saying, it was like Hillary turned up to 11 this time.
Yes.
And you're telling me disinformation was not a part of this.
Right.
There was literally, Andrew said there's literally no reason rooted in facts or reality to vote for Donald Trump unless you actually wanted America destroyed so that he could avoid prison for crimes he committed in plain sight. If that's not what you wanted, you got played for a fool by a lifelong con man again. Okay. So it's a lot. There's a lot today. And we have, Victor Shi, our tiny baby stem cell
He's
for the
back.
first time since the election. And, of course, Charlie Pierce. All right. I don't know where I want to go next.
You're all over the place, aren't you?
I think people tuned in one more time this morning to see if they would react to, and Scarborough reacted with the same arrogance he always has to the incredible backlash. And here's why this is personal for us, Chris. You know who was supposed to be in that time slot? Us.
We were for a time.
Yes, we filled in after Imus got fired, and everybody thought we were the odds-on favorite. And I'll never forget Dan Abrams telling me, what do you call it? Joe Scarborough's still under contract. They're going to probably give it to him. They have to pay off his contract anyway. And I remember saying, wait, so his evening show failed, and they're going to reward him with a morning show? And he's like, yeah, that's how it works. They still got to pay off the contract.
Well, it's a pay or play.
He literally,
That's
his
how it
ratings were
works.
so bad at night, he got canceled. And then they're like, oh, okay, well,
He
here.
had a good agent and a good lawyer to
Yeah.
negotiate his contract. That's
Yeah.
what that was.
Listen, not
And
to be-
MSNBC didn't want to pay his salary as well as yours.
Right.
That was the thing.
Right. And yours too. It was a whole show. It was our whole show. But anyway.
No, that's how that works.
But, and now, here, Chris, you know what? Karma's a little slow sometimes. But based on my emails, our social media, our just our first, how we can gauge things. I've been getting those letters for a long time and getting that feedback for a long time. A lot of people are like, they're only watching us now. So I'm just saying, if you don't like your, whatever you want to call it, news, opinion, both sides do it, right? Then this is the show for you, because both sides don't fucking do it. They just don't. And, in all this discussion, I think, Chris, I agree with you. You obviously have to have some discussion about this. You can't just go, everything was great. Obviously you want a different result next time.
Right.
But I disagree that we have to fight with hate and lies too on our side. That's not who we are. Otherwise they weren't Republicans. They won this time on complete hate and lies. So it's not the economy, it's the lies about the economy. I mean, many people are saying he's spent here it is, T-Pain. Trump is not focusing a single minute on the price of rent, gasoline, or groceries.
Oh, gosh, no.
It's everything he said it was going to be. It's going to be retribution. It's going to be hate and, cruelty and all of the stuff that he promised, And so it's we do have to figure out about people voting against we'll talk to Dean tomorrow about the Muslim community. A lot of us were and white women, Jody, we have a lot to answer for with Gen women
Xers
voting
in
for Donald
particular,
Trump.
Gen Xer women, my group.
Yeah. So it's not anybody's immune, but
It was less of us
but
this time.
The truth about Trump and the people he's nominated is so bad. How do you do it worse with lies? But it's just, this was between Elon Musk and Russia again. I mean, I'll get to it. Oh, God, there's so much. Yeah, this is Tim Snyder, who we've got to get on, who's fantastic. He said Russia did exactly this to HRC in 2016, aiming to suppress her vote, and probably did. Musk, no doubt, did suppress Harris's voting, as well as with those demotivation techniques. This should be illegal. Wilson tweeted, one of the most evil men in modern history. If anything, this election made 2016 seem quaint in terms of disinformation. And and there's the specifics, because, by the way, I watch clips of Fox. I click on Fox stories. I see exactly what they're doing. They just amplify Trump's racist lies, to the point where, like I was saying, if I believed a lot of that stuff, I might vote that way too.
Yeah.
But they create the environment where people turn on each other, enough to believe this, things that are obvious lies, right? I mean, he had absolutely zero plan for inflation. So don't tell me this was just about prices.
Right.
He didn't say hardly any. Guess who did? Kamala Harris did. Maybe we need to communicate differently. Maybe we need different communication infrastructure to get our message across. But, okay. I'm in a state this morning.
You're in a snit.
Listen, when I have to start my day singing Peggy Noonan's Chardonnay Canaries. Also, they're playing Christmas music way too soon. For God's sakes, I was in my car
They start that
Saturday.
in September.
It's not even Thanksgiving yet.
We need a little Christmas right this very minute.
I like
Carols at the window.
Somebody has a lawn display of a Thanksgiving turkey sitting on a Santa, and it says, "Wait your turn, fat boy."
Oh, no, I play Christmas music in July when it's really hot out. So it
Candles
feels
at the
cooler.
window, carols at the spinet. We need a little Christmas.
It's not
Yeah.
really Christmas until my very first. Alvin! Okay. Then I'm...
It's cold enough outside to be Christmas.
It is. I've been listening to the Colbert Christmas record, which is the best.
all right.
It's the best.
I just, you know what? I watch all of the, the Christmas rom-com movies. You know why? The suspense. Ooh, are they going to end up together? They seem like they're annoying each other. Oh my God, they end up together.
Is it a
Is the
surprise?
high-powered female executive from the city going to
Yes.
move to a small town and marry a country boy?
Thank God I'm a country boy. Yes. Oh, it's really... Sorry, spoiler alert for every Christmas movie ever. Yes, they end up together.
Pretty much every rom-com.
Okay, sorry. I'm in a mood. 21 minutes after the hour. Oh, hi, Rude. Hi. Good morning.
Hi.
So, by the way, we were just speaking. I don't know about you. I enjoyed the 11 billionth analysis on TV this weekend of the bro culture and how we might better understand a bunch of rapey douchebags. So, I'm sorry. Was that talking down to people? Rudeness.
Why do you watch these panel
can I
shows?
just say something about this talking down to people thing?
Yes.
Yes.
I'm going to put it another way. It is treating people like adults that
Thank you.
need to take responsibility for the decisions they make.
Thank you.
And you know what? If you make a stupid decision, I'm not going to sit there and say, oh, I need to understand that. Oh, I need to understand so I make sure. Oh, I'm going to say you made a stupid decision. It's probably because you're a stupid person.
It's just Jody and I were just saying, I'm sorry, it has a rapey vibe. It has a rapey vibe. It also, by the way, has a really okay. All right, everybody's just it has a rapey vibe. It also has a very homophobic vibe, right? It's very like, the opposite of the dude bros is, you must be feminine, you must be an F word for gay man. I mean, you just tweeted or threaded, looking forward to a whole bunch of bros under 26 years old discovering they can't be covered by their parents' health insurance once Obamacare is repealed. I mean, maybe pay attention a little bit to what the actual issues are and not just what makes you feel macho, right?
Yeah, next time you're so dehydrated from drinking too much that you end up in the emergency room, that bill's going to really open your eyes.
Yeah, yeah. And by the way, can I take a moment to say this has been commented on before. I am a lesbian, but I'm very bad at it. I love men. If you've noticed, my entire professional life, a lot of my personal life, the people closest to me are men. I don't hate men, but I just think there is, I can't put my finger on it, but it's not, it's not a coincidence that there's 2 rapists already in the administration. And what is Pete Hedges? So the latest news is that sexual assault, he paid her off. I mean, it's just...
No. She assaulted him.
Oh, right. She's the aggressor. Related. So in Trump world, the woman's always the lying whore, right?
Yeah. No. I hate men. Just to put that out there. Because I just think I hate the men that make the rest of men look bad.
Yeah.
Stay straight, doesn't matter. There are too many men out there that just make men look bad. And I'm not saying not all men. I'm saying that men need to take responsibility for other men. Men need to be talking to other men about how not to be a-holes.
Yeah. I mean, and it just, retweeted a lot of stuff that we've been talking about here. The headline, Trump's pro-Israel cabinet pick upsets Muslims who voted for him. And you said, how many times does Trump have to say you knew damn well I was a snake before you took me in, before people believe him? I mean, I'm sorry. I know we're supposed to be the party of empathy. I have a hard time. He didn't hide it. He told you he was going to let Netanyahu finish the job, quote unquote. I mean, talked about deporting Palestinians, talked about deporting Gaza protesters. I mean,
yeah. And now with him saying that he's going to declare a national emergency and because of an invasion of immigrants that'll allow him to use the military to do the deportations. That's he agreed. Somebody put that over on Truth Toilet. And he reflushed it. Yeah, let me go with that. He said no. He reposted it saying true, that's his plan.
Yeah.
So there you go. He's going to unleash the U.S. military on U.S. soil because of an invasion of families trying to get their kids out of a dangerous situation.
And can I just say, Jen Psaki actually did a great thing on the trans issue this week. We didn't run on that. They did. We didn't run on culture wars and wokeness. They spent $150 million on an anti-trans ad to make you feel like this is some huge problem in everyone's life. I mean, Jen Psaki went state by state. There's like one girl playing sports. Like what?
Yeah. In Idaho.
Right? I mean, it's just the fact that they were able to make that another issue to fearmonger and divide and make people hate somebody and scapegoat somebody for their life. Like, here you are, right?
Yeah.
Stephanie Miller.
Rock on.
Yeah. Oh, Jeffrey, I am with you on the threads. So now I'm supposed to play nice with the mother, or is they call me a libtard?
Stephanie
Oh,
Miller.
sorry.
Oh.
That. Yeah, I say that. Thank you. Oh, here he is. It's Thom Hagen.
There he is.
Hi, Thom. Thom watches every day. Always an excuse, and the public's too dumb to know it's good for them. See you left-wing bags at the inauguration. P.S. Nice shirt, bulimic ditch licker. Very tolerant.
That was yesterday.
So to
You know
call
what?
me a bulimic ditch licker and a, what else? Oh, a bag. I'm sorry, that's tolerant, but my shirt is...
He does,
All the people that wear Let's Go Brandon shirts at the rallies, which was basically Joe Biden. Thank you.
he does know a good catchphrase when he
He does,
coins,
though.
when he coins one though.
That is
Wow.
good. That is
Yeah.
a good one.
Wow.
It is. And
See?
at least he's back to bulimic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's nice.
Because you know that I think he's calling me fat when he leaves that out.
I know. So at least he's gotten you back to the skinny.
Also, I will not see you at the inauguration. Don't forget to bring your own poop bags this time when you're all over the Capitol, you filthy beast.
You and he are going to fall in love like Katharine Hepburn
a
and Cary
rom-com.
Grant.
A Christmas rom-com.
Yes, you are. You are like
Tom, call me. Where do you live?
a snappy 1940s, movie with
Kate
with
Hepburn.
Katharine
exactly.
Hepburn.
Exactly.
Yes.
And Spencer.
I love you. This ditch licker loves you, Tom. Hi, Sue. Oh, Sue doesn't realize she's on yet.
No.
Okay, so you know what? We're at the hard break anyway. Tom, you're my knight in shining armor.
I was thinking more like
I'm gonna get on you and ride. What?
I was thinking more along the lines of bringing up baby. You know, that's that.
That's you. Or
That
that's
kind
the
of
set, the desk set.
Is that where the calla lilies are in bloom?
No. She started out
You must
as
have the Aquitaine? I must have the Aquitaine.
That's what they are. Sounds like I'm
boy.
lisping.
majority of people have never voted for him. By the way, Fox News gets even basic facts right. Like this, facts wrong, excuse me. Like this, pretty human.
Ronald Reagan won 49 states.
Mm-hmm.
Richard Nixon won, I think, 44 states.
Mm-hmm.
Barry Goldwater won only one state against Lyndon Johnson in 1974.
He
Now,
says
those were
1974.
landslides.
He said
Oh, for God's
74.
sakes, I'll take over from here, Britt. It was 1964, not 74, and they won 6 states, not 1, you moron.
Brigham is old.
Walter Mondale won 1 state, his home state of Minnesota.
Yeah, I remember
All right.
that.
However, your point is correct about mandates and landslides.
Real mandates are rare, and landslides are perhaps even rarer. The House was a squeaker. It's possible the Republicans didn't gain any ground. So another measure by which
Thank you.
talk about landslides is usually presidents who have landslides have a lot of coattails. The president had some this time. It's helped him to gain control of the Senate. But as you mentioned, he lost those 4 battleground states to the Democratic candidates.
Thank you.
Have you heard about that one race that is still being counted down in Orange County? Like the Republican was ahead for the longest time,
Yeah.
but then the Democrat just pulled ahead in the past couple of days by like 30 votes.
Wow.
So
Oh, is there going to be a recount?
yeah, well,
Would you
it's
like
probably
some-
going to, yeah, but it's kind of crazy what's going on down there.
Well, mail-in
Would you like
ballots.
some electoral fun facts?
Sure.
Yes.
Yes. This would be part 6,343 of I don't want to be Republicans or have hateful, racist, homophobic Republican policies. Or just awful policies in general. In 2024, only 2 states voted unanimously. Let's compare. Red state, Oklahoma. Oh, isn't that what the one that Trump said somebody's doing some right-wing douchebags
Mark
doing
Wayne
such a great
Mullen?
job? Yeah, Mark Wayne, John Boy, Jim Bob Mullen,
Something like that.
something guy. Oh, that's right, where he's doing such a great job in Oklahoma. Oklahoma, 44th in education, 49th in healthcare, 44th in quality of life, 50th in test scores. Nicely done, Oklahoma. Top 10 worst poverty. Massachusetts, that would be the only other state, voted solid blue. First, that would be first. That'd be 1. For those of you who can't do math, let's say in Oklahoma, that's first in education, second in healthcare, first in quality of life, first in test scores. That's the first, not the 50th.
That's because they pay
That's
attention
a lot,
to Charlie
a lot
Pierce.
higher than 50. Top 10 in least poverty. Okay. Any questions? Bueller? No? All right. Rachel Bidikofer, our buddy, our pal, says, do not obey in advance, Joe and Mika. I just added that. Just
She didn't say that. She
no,
meant it, though.
that's who she meant.
Shut up,
In
Mika.
to-
Shut up, Mika.
What does Charlie call them? Squint and the meat puppet?
Yep.
And Trump has hired all the giggling couch tumors. There aren't even any couch tumors left now, are there? He just who's the,
deuces.
Sean Duffy, the other reality stars that are going to
Yeah.
be the Secretary of Transportation. Oh, that's a little bit of a come down from Pete Buttigieg. But he was on the Real World or something, and he was a
He was also district
Weekend Fox
He
thing.
was also district attorney and congressman from
Sure.
Wisconsin.
Yeah, he's great.
So
Okay. He's married to another giggling couch tumor on Fox, right? Rachel something.
Rachel Campos Duffy.
Right. Carrington.
Rachel
Colby.
was on, Rachel,
Colby Carrington.
Rachel was on the San Francisco version of the Real World, and
Of course she
and
was.
Sean was on the Boston
You know who's the
version.
only
of the Real
couch tumor who's left is Dagan McDowell, who my mom thought I was.
Aren't the Duceys still around?
Dagan McDowell was.
World. Yeah, the Duceys are still there.
Yeah. When my mom got Alzheimer's, you know, she's
I
past
I
at
finally
100,
saw what
but she
Dagan
used to
looks like,
she used
so
to
I
tell
get
me
that.
every day how great it was, and then I realized that she was watching Dagan McDowell on Fox News, and I just said thank you. Did you enjoy that segment? Good. Okay.
Isn't Dagan and Duffy, is that the show?
What?
Isn't that the show, Dagan and Duffy?
No idea.
That's their show.
Don't interrupt Rachel Bidikofer. She says, do not obey in advance. In times like these, individuals think ahead about what a more repressive government will want and then offer themselves without being asked. A citizen who adapts in this way is teaching power what it can do. Thank you. All right, Sue in Rockville. Hello, Sue.
Well, good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
I want to be clear about this. Everyone has to make a decision on how they're going to deal with the Trump voters in their lives, their friends and family. I want to be clear where I stand. I will not associate with anyone who voted for Trump, because I do not believe in hate. I do not believe in lies. I do not believe in making people miserable.
Yeah.
I believe in knowledge.
I'm with
believe in
you.
truth.
I'm with you. I don't, and you know
I am
what?
not
Tell me I'm in my bubble, but I'm not friends with any Trumpers. They don't share my values
Me
in the
neither.
first place.
And I've raised children who married partners and 6 grandchildren who all are learning how to be knowledgeable, to think critically, to use knowledge, facts, science, to become educated. I'm the first one in my family to go to college and to graduate. My parents came from nothing, but my parents were educated voters. They learned about things. Now, I just want to be clear. They chose hate, and they are responsible for the loss of every life and every innocent who will be punished or die because they voted for Trump. And that is a line I cannot cross.
Yeah.
I will not be their friend. I will not have them in my family. And I take bravo to Jesse Walter's mother for telling him to get the hell out of her house.
Yeah. 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 No, I think you've heard me tell the story. I parted ways with, which I rarely ever do. Like, I have friends for many, many, many years. My, best friend is of 40 years. But I parted ways with a friend. And again, I'm going to guess she voted for Trump because she's an anti-vaxxer lunatic. But that's why we parted ways, was in, back during COVID, because I didn't know how to broach that. I said, I can't invite you to my house if you're not vaccinated. Nobody I know wants to be around that. She had that loony belief that I was going to shed vaccine on her because I was vaccinated. And she had a platform that she was spreading this ridiculous disinformation like Bobby Kennedy that, I'm sorry, has killed a lot of people. That's a line I can't cross. And I'm going to guess because of the anti-vax lunacy, she probably voted. I don't think she voted for Trump last time, but so sometimes people have other.
She probably voted for RFK.
My own family, like, as you guys know, I've told the whole story on air, but just if people are despicable in general and do despicable things to people in your family, in this case, yes, of course, they happen to be a Trumper, but it's so sometimes there are other reasons, and everybody has their own. What's the word? Calculus. Covey tweeted, "This is why no one trusts the media, because how can you spend years calling that man a fascist and Hitler and then decide to meet with him after he won to quote-unquote restart communication?" Cherry Jacobus, who we love, we got to get her on, by the way. She's on with Bob Seska quite a bit. She said their effort to work with him is not okay. They are allegedly journalists. It's not their job to work with Trump. They're supposed to report on him. I think they're sucking up and want back in his circle. Yeah. Yep. All right. Let's. Oh, Karen in Chicago. Hello. Booby foofy foo.
Hello. Good morning, sweetie. Yeah. The guy who's calling you a ditch licker, the neo-Nazis marching in Columbus, the people getting in the faces of black women. Let's see, what else? Oh, the bros getting in the face of young women saying, your body, my choice.
The message is now to gay people and Hispanic people. It's like, that's the thing. They're going, have you ever read the poem? I didn't say anything, and then they came for me.
I don't need to see the end.
Right. Yeah. You don't need to get to the end of the poem. We know how hate ends.
So, exactly right. So all of that, don't tell me it's about the eggs. Don't tell me it's about the milk. Don't tell me about that. It is not about
Scarborough
any of that stuff.
started losing me when he started beating up on trans people and Democrats right after the election. It was
absolutely. Well, I'm just going to nickname him now Lindsay Joe in the Meat Puppet, and all that was them going down to kiss the ring and audition for state TV. That is such an FU to
and then on record
time,
time, he sends a tweet mocking them, and gave Fox News fodder to talk about how they groveled, and he was so nice to even let them grovel in front of him. I mean, how total can your humiliation be at this point? How about this? Nikki Haley tweeted, "Let's be clear, Joe and Mika didn't suddenly see the light. They saw their ratings. They realized they needed Trump for their survival." And Ron said, when Nikki Haley's mocking you for being a fraud and a sellout, that's when you know it's really bad, because she's an expert.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know what they expect. And then Joe's getting all, butthurt on Twitter and, on Blue Sky, trying to explain himself. I mean, why? And this is the thing, MSNBC, what did they do in 2016? They gave this guy free airtime, to campaign, and then they get rewarded with extra hours. You guys should have absolutely had that time slot. That is a big problem, is our mainstream media just rewarding these people that are feckless. If I did my job the way they did their job, I wouldn't have a job.
We'd be better now. I've overcome my sweating problem because I have no more hormones. Chris is through his Cindy Brady phase. He was a little bit shell-shocked. You were just a boy back then. Yeah. Anyway, all right, honey, love you.
Little boy.
He is a little boy.
All right, love you guys.
He is a rumble tumble. Be nice.
He doesn't feel good.
You offered him crackers and soup this morning.
Yes, just chicken soup.
Is
and
that what
some
Carol Burnett
crackers.
serves when one is sick?
Yes. Why wouldn't? And sucrettes if you have a sore throat.
Why didn't Carol Burnett serve me crackers and soup when I was sick?
She wasn't your mother.
No, she wasn't.
Because my Republican mom did.
She gave you soup and crackers.
By the way, I would like to offer a defense of myself a day late for voting for Reagan. In my defense, Chris, I was only 2 years old. I obviously voted illegally, having only been born in 1981. So that is my excuse.
That's what we're going with?
I was not
If you were
fully
bo-
formed.
Wait,
All
no,
I
but
knew
he was
is
first elected in 1980.
I was from a
So-
Republican family. I didn't vote that time. I was obviously in
So you voted in
in
84.
utero. Right. But
Okay.
I cheated like most Republicans do. I voted illegally at 2 years old. And I didn't even have a fully formed brain
Did you
cell.
have an
brain
ID?
stem. What? No. You didn't need that back then.
You just needed to walk in like a toddler?
Yeah.
Got it.
Okay. Seth the homo of hope. Hello.
Good morning, everybody. Okay, these times we're in make about as much sense as, I don't know, maybe being shot in the ear and not even having the smallest little nick to show for that. I want to pick up on something Fernand talked about last Friday, because what I've been thinking about, which is the Senate. When we look ahead to this is the conversation we have to have and should be having. When we look ahead to 2026, like a lot of seats that are up for grabs are Republican seats. Our problem is they're Republican seats in ruby red states. Now, Republicans have found a way to inch into blue places like New Jersey and New York. We have to have a conversation to figure out how do we inch in to those red places, because otherwise we will never take back the Senate. I think Maine and North Carolina are the only two option seats that we could pick up the way we're going right now. And then in 2028, there's only 2 more seats that would look available. So this is a conversation. I don't want to hear about what we did wrong. Yeah, we need to be reflective, but we need to be moving forward and think, how are we going to get our message out? What is our message? Because our message was good.
Yeah, exactly. And Seth, I was just, Martin threaded jobs at record highs, stocks at record highs, crime at record lows. So, yeah, when you think about it like that, Trump really is the candidate of change. We had all the facts on our side. We just have to, obviously figure out an information ecosystem or delivery system, that works better, because I don't think we have to do it with hate and lies. But here's another example. So Trump now is talking about calling people back up and court-martialing them for his Afghanistan withdrawal plan. Speaking of liberals fighting differently, why didn't we call up Michael Flynn, who is a traitor to the United States, and court-martial him? That's part of how we don't fight the same, and it's not, and that's not like that you have to fight on lies or hate or whatever. Michael Flynn is a traitor to the United States.
Yes, he is.
But we don't fight like they do. And so unless we want to keep getting pantsed, I think we have to figure that out, which is why we love our alpha liberals. I'm so glad, by the way, Cliff Schechter has been added to Bob Seska's, it's his Tuesday show, right?
His Tuesday show.
He's a fantastic alpha liberal like Bob. And so that's really exciting news,
It
I
is.
think. Yeah.
Today's their first show together, I believe.
Oh, is it? Oh, good. I can't wait. I never miss a show. Okay. I just... God, Dr. Tran, do you follow him on Threads? He said, in recent weeks, there have been reports of increasing bird flu hospitalizations. Oy vey. New
that's what I have.
monkeypox. Maybe you do.
You have the bird flu.
New monkeypox strains, deadly foodborne bacterial outbreaks, measles cases up 20%, long COVID prevalence may be much higher, and yet the U.S. plans to adopt an anti-vaxxer as its top health official. I mean, it is terrifying. RC threaded just saw someone post about their COVID booster, and they were asked, why don't you learn about natural health instead of using vaccines? What did our ancestors do? They died, Emily. They died.
Yeah, they did.
I mean, what is the number? Our average lifespan used to, here it is. The life expectancy in 1900 was 47 years old. Leading causes of death included pneumonia, influenza, gross. Influenza, tuberculosis, diphtheria, smallpox, pertussis, measles, and typhoid fevers.
I have pertussis.
That's
what I have.
That's what you got.
Total
I hope you have
pertussis.
something cool. Vaccines changed all that. Thank you. That's why we don't die at 47 years old anymore. Okay, sorry, I'm yelling.
I never got like the classic childhood diseases like, measles, mumps.
What is pertussis? Is it cough? It's a cough, isn't it?
I have no idea.
I didn't get chickenpox.
Let's Google it.
Until I was 26 years old.
Oh, okay. I got chickenpox when I was 10.
I got it.
But it was
I'm
a
pretty
really
sure
mild
I
case.
have leprosy. I got to go live on Molokai.
Yeah,
See
you
ya.
do. It's a nice island.
Yeah, I like Hawaii.
And there still is a leper colony there.
There is.
Oh, good.
They don't have
At least
leprosy.
I'll
There is.
have more friends than I have here.
Well,
No, there is. I've been on the
yeah,
island.
yeah.
Okay,
I
fantastic.
mean, they're like in one little corner of the island, but it's
Well,
still there.
It's safe. Everybody's safe. Everybody's
Yeah.
healthy. It's
All right, 50
fine.
guys, listen, 50 minutes after the hour. I know. Let's ask Randy Weingarten, the president of the American Federation of Teachers. Hi, good morning, Randy.
You're making her laugh.
Well, that's a good thing.
We are considerably
Well,
less happy than when we
let's-
ran into each other at the
let's-
DNC, but hi, good morning.
Well, let's say that science should be rocking and rolling here.
Oh my God, Randy. Here's the vicious circle. We get into is liberals get accused of talking down to people and blah blah blah, and then we are in this horrible place we are in where people have voted against their self-interests again. And I don't know what, if there's one definitive answer, but, you tweeted about Florida's average SAT scores have dropped to 948 in 2024,
Wow.
18 points lower than last year, nearly 70 points lower than in 2017. The education state, as Ron DeSantis likes to call it, is now ranked 47th. I mean, these people, we're joking about playing Lauren Boebert and Marjorie Taylor Greene, but someone was talking about Joe Rogan's influence, and he proudly says, "I'm just dumb. I don't really know anything." Go ahead.
Well, let me first off, thank you for having me on. And then there's, I could wax for a long time on what I think has happened here. But let me just say this. I do think, and I wrote this weekend in an op-ed. Al Shanker used to do an op-ed every week for the New York Times. I do it once a month. But I wrote in the op-ed, I do think it was the price of eggs.
Yeah.
I mean, all of these other things are part of what's going on.
There's other factors.
But
It was
there's all-
it's a
and
perfect
these-
storm, but
and these folks, because Lauren Boebert was like this before the 2022 election, and she literally almost lost her race to Adam Frisch at that point by just a couple hundred votes, and then she moved to another place. I think that the issue is we have two realities. We have reality one, which, you and I try to live in. And then there is this kind of lack of fact-based reality, which Boebert and others live in. But most people who are non-college working class folk basically have been saying, not just through COVID, but before COVID, before the 2008 recession, before NAFTA, that what they want is to have a decent life for themselves and their families.
Yeah.
And the two charts that mattered to me most in the post-election, gap fest has been, number one, that people who are poor voted for Trump, and number two, or more people who are poor voted for Trump. I don't have the chart in front of me. And number two, a Steve Ratner chart that showed that that more families now no longer make more money going forward than going backwards.
Right.
That our kids are making less money than we are. And so these two things, that America, what normally binds America together is that we believe that there's going to be opportunity that's better in the future than it was in the past, and that our kids will do better. And so when you see the price of gas or the price of eggs or the price of bacon or your groceries, that is a reality that's shared by a lot of people.
Right.
And so it was exploited by the Boberts and the others
Yeah.
of the world
But Randy,
to do something completely different than what it meant.
But let me just interrupt you for a moment. So I was reading a tweet. Do people really think the price of everything is going to magically drop in January? WTF is wrong with them. I would ask you about critical thinking skills. It's not just the disinformation that Trump won entirely on lies. Oh, Jenny, our giggling whore in Baltimore. Hello, Jenny.
Oh, hello. I used to be giggling. Now I'm just a grumpy old whore.
No one likes a grumpy old whore. Come on now. Go ahead.
I was just calling because this morning I was listening to Allison Gill, Mueller, she wrote, and she was talking about how the incoming administration wants to defund Medicaid, among other things.
They do.
And are you there?
Yes.
Hello?
Yeah, go ahead.
Anyway, I just wanted to let people know what that means, because I don't think people really know what Medicaid means unless they are on Medicaid. And
yep, honey, sorry, we're hitting a hard break here, but yes, it's translation, it's real bad.
Yep.
Trust me.
Yes.
58 minutes after the hour, Charlie Pierce and Victor Shi coming up.
And there's that needs to be fought for too. That needs to have a balance for too. We're not talking about just charging him anymore at this point. I get Jack Smith is going to dismiss it outright, but a jury has spoken. And I think that should have some weight in a democracy and a justice system like we do. And I think Justice Merchan should take that into consideration too.
Agreed. That was the Midas touch.
Yeah, she's one of the legal ladies on that.
A legal lady, exactly.
She's a legal lady.
That's what I said. Legal lady. Okay. What? Okay. I need some love. Sorry. Oh, hi. Welcome, New Morning Joe listeners and viewers. Hi.
Aren't they over by now?
I agree with you.
I think they just ended.
Okay.
Yeah, we are the anti-fascism liberals, so don't get in bed with fascists. Okay. Laura in Woodstock, Georgia. Hey, Steph. I've been a hot mess this past week. My mind keeps racing with possible solutions to this nightmare and thinking this is something America must go through in order to truly become the country we claim to be. All I keep thinking back is to June 2016 and Brexit. Remember all the stories about how people were shocked and horrified after they realized exactly what they voted for? And now we have the same thing. I really do blame mainstream media for not educating viewers and readers, as is their obligation. But that's a whole nother rant. Thanks for everything you do, Mama. So grateful for you are. Welcome, Laura. And everyone that used to watch Morning Joe. Okay, let's... We shall never kiss the ring. Never.
Never, never, never.
Surrender. We shall fight them on the beaches. Okay, I'm back. Sean and Ann, help those of us in red states. Steph, I can no longer allow Trump to live rent-free in my head. I cannot listen to his voice or see his face, so I will only be tuning into the Stephanie Miller Show for my news. I think that's wise.
Yes.
Filtered through Stephanie doing Donald's voice to be able to digest it.
That's the best way to
it is.
I'm trying not to grab his stuff. I'm trying not to
I don't think
grab
I can. I can't. I can't handle it either. I read the stupid Joe and Mika tweet. You're lucky I let them come here and grab it. I have no sympathy for anyone shocked by anything Donald Trump does. Did they wake up all like blinky, Joe and Mika? Like, what? He said something mean about us again? But what? People, do not tune out. Do it for those of us that are not in a safe blue bubble. Thank you, Sean. Agreed. Please, if you know people in red areas that are scared, reach out. If you have friends and family that are, feel like they're surrounded. Dan, this is a love letter and also another indication that I am way too blabby, and people that work with me have worked with me way too long, and people that listen have listened way too long and know way too many things about me. Dan said, Dear Steph, because of the placement of your microphone yesterday, it looked like your T-shirt says rump. Is this a reference to your long-ago vacation in Italy, Dan, in Binghamton?
Wow.
Okay, you know what, Dan? Let's not bring up college misadventures in Italy.
Some people pay attention to your stories very carefully.
Goodness gracious.
Things you can't unsay.
I haven't remembered that Italian story in a really long time.
I don't think I ever heard it. Will you please divulge it to me?
What's the matter me?
I had fun in Italy once.
My college heterosexual misadventures in Italy. That was that story. Okay, let's move on, shall we?
Mike, I want to hear this.
I think there was...
Okay, you know what? Just...
Okay. All right.
Why isn't there more turnover on this show so people know nothing about me?
Because you keep bringing us back in when we try to leave.
You're like the Godfather.
I didn't. You were like Joe and Mika. You came groveling back. I didn't go to Palm Springs and get you.
You kind of did.
No, I did not.
You came out there with Marcia.
Oh, I came to visit you.
Is that what we call it?
We look like the sweetest lovers that have like a second home in the desert. Which we don't. We're not, but okay.
No.
All right. Michelangelo Signorelli, one of our SiriusXM beloveds, says CNN and MSNBC ratings plummeted after the election. What they and most corporate media don't understand is that much of their audience comes from the liberal left, while the right watches Fox. And that audience blames media coverage, too, for the Trump win. Morning Joe bowing to Trump and the rest doing finger-pointing in both sides' coverage isn't going to bring that audience back. Thank you. That's why they're all here. In case you're wondering where they went. Joe Walsh said, good morning. Trump's greatest legacy is the destruction of truth. We lacked imagination in Trump's first term regarding the threat that he is and the lawlessness he is capable of. Do not make that mistake again. If you normalize Trump, he's already beaten you. Number 4, resist. Thank you. Joe Walsh will still be Vive la Resistance sing with us. Vive la Resistance. Vive.
Maybe he'll come on with us again.
That was better.
We will get our je ne sais quoi. We will locate it. We will say au revoir to ennui.
Why would you say au revoir to ennui?
Back into a cul-de-sac.
Bonjour. Yes, we are in a political cul-de-sac now, but we'll get out. MS says, all of us should refuse to pretend that any of this is normal and that these voters are just woefully misunderstood. And if only the Democrats had addressed their economic anxiety, they might vote differently. While they are numerous, that does not make them right. Those are adults, so let's treat them like adults. Let's acknowledge that they want to believe nonsense and conjecture. They want to believe anything that affirms their worldview. Thank you. Hang on one second. Okay. New York. Oh, somebody retweeted New Yorker magazine. Instead of explaining how she would build on Joe Biden's accomplishments and tackle corporate greed and inequality, Kamala Harris spoke of creating an opportunity economy, a vague idea more likely to appeal to entrepreneurs than to struggling workers. MS says Kamala Harris' vague economic plan was 82 pages and would significantly help the bottom fifth of income earners. People, this is the outright lie that in the misogynoir in real time. And you all still want to act like it wasn't a factor. I'm going to keep pointing it out because the gaslighting is unreal. And one last one from Bob Schooley. I'm looking for the post-election take on Trump winning because a lot of white people are pretty clearly stupid, racist, or both. Thank you, Bob! Yeah. Rita in Texas. Hi, Rita.
Hello.
Hello.
How are you?
Good. Go ahead.
Listen, I love you. You're so good. You think like I think. You got rid of Joe. I don't record him no more, etc., etc. I love you, Jody.
Yes, ma'am.
You guys are wonderful. But I want to say,
I'm in trouble now.
I felt a butt coming, but go ahead.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Everybody's been trying to say. I believe Chris voted for Trump because he's touchy on that subject. Anytime you talk about Trump, he just gets in a rage. So I think that's the friend is him. That's what I think.
No.
Chris can speak for himself,
but
I don't believe he voted for Trump, but I don't.
I'm just going to say no.
You don't?
No.
No,
Why
he
is
did
he
not.
so sensitive?
He's got a friend that
Why
did.
is he so sensitive?
He's got a friend.
Huh?
He has a friend that voted for him.
Honestly, Rita, we're all sensitive
Right.
after
Why
the
is
election.
he gets really upset when y'all talk about that friend.
Yeah. Well,
I
mean,
guess-
we're all a little touchy.
Well, okay. Here's the thing. When I'm asked about my friend, I talk about my friend, and then I get accused of being defensive. So I'm not going to talk about that friend anymore. Okay.
Good choice.
That would be great.
All right, Rita.
Okay, then why did you bring it up, Rita?
Okay. We don't need to take that
You're
tone
okay
with
for
each
it.
other. Let's try to be respectful.
I don't have a tone.
No, not you.
Just-
Not you. Not talking to you.
He's talking. I can't hear
Right.
him. Is he talking?
Okay.
Is he talking?
Rita, I think we're all a little exhausted and a little, what's the word? We're a little raw after this election, so let's give each other a little grace. But I love you, and my friend just got back from Texas, and she said the hats were everywhere that say "Make Dallas Great Again." So I assume Dallas has not been great and now is great again. Is that what happened?
I have no idea what
Yeah.
he's talking about. It's the same.
I assume.
But
Yes.
I thank you guys
All
for
right.
everything.
Thank you, sweetie.
All right. Take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Yeah, speaking of traveling, my friend just traveled. Katie tweets, so they said on the news a record-breaking number of people will be traveling over the Thanksgiving weekend. That's odd. I thought people were struggling because of inflation. Just more lies told by the right. I mean, I hear more and more, literally all-time record traveling. I heard somebody talking about the lines at Costco are longer than ever. I mean, people buying gold sneakers from Trump and God knows what the frig else. Tommy says, you said joy and happiness won't pay for your groceries. Let me know how hatred, bigotry, and resentment works. It's not the answer either. Frank Conniff, who is hilarious, says, I'm sure when people of color are being separated from their families and thrown into boxcars by armed soldiers, it'll be a great comfort to them that Trump and Joe and Mika had a nice sit down. Yeah, do you understand? I don't know what people are. He's talking about using the military. This is what Paul Rykoff,
Yes, he
who
is.
we're going to try to get on,
Yeah, we are.
is talking about. He is talking about using the military against American citizens. He is talking about, again, retribution, about calling up. First of all, again, what did I say? I should listen. You know what? I should go back and listen to myself about how you won't need facts or evidence in Trump 2.0.
Right.
It's his Afghanistan withdrawal plan. He's going to court-martial people for the Afghanistan withdrawal. That was his plan that he made with the Taliban and cut out the Afghan government. Using the military to, this is going to be a way to try to overwhelm state governments, local governments. Remember how they're always states' rights people? Not when it comes to their, incredibly cruel deportation plans. Nope, states have no rights now. They switch on a dime. On this states' rights bolt. Barry McCaffrey, former general, said Trump's plans to recall retired officers to court-martial them for the Afghan withdrawal will be a political disaster for him and devastating to the morale of the armed forces. The Uniform Code of Military Justice System is a codified congressional statute, not Stalin's show trials. Well, we're in a brave new world now, apparently. Let's go to real quick. Michelangelo in Denver. Hey, Mike.
Well, how you doing, guys?
Hi.
Hey, listen, I just want to add this. I think that it's about time that we review the 50-state strategy that we had, about 10, 12 years ago, or with Kerry and everything else, because that was a much better workable plan. They're getting into every state. And even if there's one standing soldier in every state to go out and to spread the word, everything with the media and all that, you're absolutely right. They have just shifted, and I think a lot of it is for power and money and all. So we have, on this end here, we have to do resistance, but it's got to be with really big letters like the Hollywood sign and all, and get people out there. I intend to go to Washington on January 20th. Maybe I'll see you there.
I would go the 18th for Sexy Liberal DC and the march.
The march is on the 18th.
And then I'm going to be out of there like through a goose on Sunday morning.
Exactly.
And it's Jody Hamilton's birthday on January 18th. Do it for Jody, for America.
For my 58th birthday.
And right.
I don't lie about my age.
You are old.
I am old.
Oh, yes. Here was Trump's tweet congratulating Senator Mark Wayne, Jim Bob, John Boy,
Carrington,
Colby, Huffington, Colby, Mullen of Oklahoma. Great job by Senator, whatever. I think it's a wonderful interview with Trey Gowdy on Fox News. I love Oklahoma. I read the stats on Oklahoma, didn't I?
No,
They're
yes,
basically
you did.
last
Awful.
in everything,
Yes.
in literally
They're not
everything.
well-
Yes,
no, it's bad.
Mark Wayne, a great fighter. Blah, 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 make America great. Andrew says, this is what 74.5 million people voted for. 4 years of him congratulating himself for non-achievements, no plans nor even the slightest interest in doing anything for the country other than demolishing its federal agencies to consolidate his own power and harm the American people. Shock and awe, shock and awe. Remember that?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. It's Operation Commando Underpants again. Come on. Commando Eagle? Operation An Eagle Without Underpants. That's what it is.
Commando Eagle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Operation Commando Eagle.
Commando Eagle.
It's an eagle without underpants.
Do eagles wear
Yeah. Do you remember
underwear?
the big George Bush, like the big, dumb, unnecessary, illegal war operation names? Operation Commando Eagle.
It's an eagle without underpants.
It is. Commando
Eagles
Eagle
wear
is
underpants?
it technically is an eagle without underpants, which presumably most of them don't wear underpants.
I've never seen an eagle with them.
Okay, Jim made a good point back
Yeah,
then. It was
right.
Commando would mean that would presumably mean an eagle without underpants.
Yes.
Okay. All right. We'll have to think of some bigger, cooler, crueler, more horrible names for Trump's military operations, deporting people's grandmothers and stuff.
Abuelita.
Let's think on it.
Commando Stephanie, which is what you are.
No. Oh, that's
true.
Okay. All right, 20 minutes after the hour. This portion, Stephen Beschloss, author of America, America.
Yeah.
You're not stuttering. He says it twice on purpose. Hi. Hi.
Times I might have to add a couple more Americas just to underscore the
Right.
necessity of its survival.
Writer, political journalist extraordinaire. I mean, Stephen, so to your point, I love how this last piece you wrote, not today's, I already read that too, but you said, remember, Donald Trump wants us to be demoralized. He wants to fuel conflict and outrage. He wants to push the boundaries as far as he can, not only to see what he can get away with, but to throw Congress and the country off balance or even into chaos to strengthen his own position. In his warped vision, he relies on the ruins of others. And that's where I think it starts with saying this is not a mandate. This is,
Right.
49, 50%. That's where it starts for them to make you feel demoralized, right? And defeated, and like you're the one that's out of touch and you're just overwhelmed, and they're the vast majority of people, disagree with you, right?
Right. And look, a win, in this case, a win is a win. We have to live with that. But let's not pretend that it's a mandate. Let's not pretend that it's a landslide. Let's not pretend that this is a normal administration that we should respond to normally. I think it's already worrisome that this early, 63 days before January 20th inauguration, that there's so many people who are already quickly rolling over, who already seem to be more concerned about trying to get along, trying to get access, trying to treat this guy like it's just a normal day in a democratic America.
I am wearing this wardrobe today in honor of Joe and Mika, who went to kiss the ring at Mar-a-Lago on Friday. To your
So
point.
you're promising that after January 20th, your T-shirt will not say he's not that bad.
I mean, but to your point, Joyce Vance tweeted, Trump isn't even in office yet, and we're already talking about letting him bypass the Constitution as though that's a
Right.
normal conversation to be having.
Right. And look, 63 days away. I mean, there's something that he did which is weirdly our benefit, which is that all of these reckless, dangerous selections for a cabinet and other so-called leadership positions, they're so egregious that they serve the purpose of exposing what his intentions are. And now we'll get to see very clearly what the Senate is made of. Do they actually treat their duty to advise and consent, to follow the Constitution with seriousness, or don't they? And if they don't, you know what? We need to know sooner rather than later.
I mean, you went down all of them. Pete Hegseth for Secretary of Defense. I mean, not only do we find out he paid the woman off for this latest sexual assault allegation, but you said, did you know he championed service members who were accused of war crimes? Did you know he was asked to stand down from guarding President Biden in his inauguration because of his extremist religious tattoos? Tulsi Gabbard, you talk about, how many of our allies have already determined they can't trust their secrets with Trump and are reorganizing their intelligence operations to avoid relying on America. What does that hurt? America. It hurts America. You said not only is she ill-prepared and unqualified, but she traffics in conspiracy theories, cozies up to dictators like Assad and Putin. I mean, it is almost a script that would be rejected out here in Hollywood. Matt Gaetz for Attorney General. It's a lot of us really actually, even for Trump, thought this was a joke when we heard these nominations. Did you?
No, Matt Gaetz, I thought that one was a joke. I thought maybe even the new version of The Onion was trying to spoof us, right? But they are very. I mean, he's very serious. He's not hiding, and this intention to pursue retribution. Let's be clear. That's on the table.
Yeah.
It's not. And treat it accordingly. So
well, I thought you made such a smart point. I hadn't heard other people say. You said maybe Donald has finally found his Roy Cohn, minus the intelligence and the legal knowledge, but with the same level of ambition, immorality, and capacity for cruelty. And you said we can only hope the ethics report will be leaked or otherwise handed over to senators. I mean, obviously, some senators are demanding it or saying they're not going to vote for him. But we'll see how quickly the capitulation to Trump happens, because it usually happens on cue, right?
Right. And look, the thing about that ethics report, it provides evidence, but it's almost as if we don't really need more evidence.
Yeah. Yeah. I posted some super pretty pictures of Politics Girl from
Yes,
Sexy
you did.
Liberal. Remember back when we were 40 years younger and 40 pounds thinner a week and a half ago at LA Sexy Liberal? Anyway. But she was this what's his name? Scott Jennings, the CNN right-wing
Oh, that
douche.
guy.
He's the one that's so condescending to her. Like she was talking once and he like just went like this with his hands and she's so great at calling people out on their BS, especially just this kind of misogyny. But anyway, he was just being a D to Paul Rieckhoff, who's the veteran. They got into a verbal brawl over whether who was more of an expert on Trump's vow to send troops to the southern border. I'm going to say Paul Rieckhoff is.
Yeah.
Is he,
having been an actual troop and all.
Exactly.
Yes. Yeah. He was reacting to Trump's plan to declare a national emergency over the southern border. Rieckhoff said it's a guardrail moment for America. There's nothing more sacred or more serious that you can ask an American service member to do than deploy opposite American civilians. So Jennings is like, number one, they're not deployed against American citizens. They're saying like undocumented immigrants aren't people. Yeah, they are. And then he said, we've been deploying the National Guard. And Rieckhoff said that's a very different thing. And Jennings said, you're the expert. Have at it. He said, Paul said, I'm no expert. I'm just a concerned American. And Jennings says, well, you act like one. They're just going to continue to be douchebags. That's Rieckhoff said, have you served in uniform? Which, of course, no, he hasn't. And it's just, any person we just quoted General McCaffrey. It's a really big deal. I don't think people understand that everything he said he was going to do, he's going to do. Do we have? Do I have sound bites on this? I forget.
No,
not on this. Sorry,
not on this. No.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Hold, please. Yes. I'm sorry. I didn't want to talk about the nominations in general with Jeffrey.
Here's what I have to say about several of the nominations that have been made by the incoming president, including the one that Debbie Wasserman Schultz was referring to. The incoming president, throughout the campaign, promised the American people that we would have the best economy, the best border security, and the best administration possible. The question that has to be asked, is this the best that we can do?
All right, Charlie Pierce, next.
If the message is we're here to deport your abuelita, that's not going to work well. It has to be one of holding these hardened criminals accountable.
But that is the message from the Trump administration. They are doing mass deportation. Pack your bags. You heard Thom Homan say that. Now, they have said they will deport criminals first, but they've also said everyone else. There are 11 to 13 million undocumented workers in this country. So how does this work? How do you convince them to let people who are picking fruit stay?
We have a fascism stack now. Yes, Trump confirms plan to use military to deport migrants. Tom Fitton, the conservative douche, tweeted about it, and Trump just retweeted it and said, true. How about this one? Trump calls for probe of famed Iowa pollster Ann Seltzer after she quits her job. He called for an investigation into over her bombshell pre-election survey that showed, again, when we go, oh, well, he can't do that. Apparently, you can. He wrote, she knew exactly what she was doing. I don't even know what the crime would be. Will we need any crimes?
What?
You can investigate pollsters for being wrong now. Is that? Okay. All right, this is why I love Rex
What? Wait, going back to Ann Seltzer?
Yeah, hang on. Let me get some details for you. Yep. What do you want to know?
Trump thinks she destroyed her entire career.
Yes. To help Kamala Harris something. She needs to be investigated.
Right.
Wow.
For causing great distrust and uncertainty at a very critical time. So even when he wins, he's a stompy, sore loser, whiny baby bitch.
Yep.
Okay.
Ann Seltzer doesn't have a career now.
I know.
Yeah.
This is why I love Rex Hupke. Have you read him in the USA Today? This is just so perfect. Just headlined. I didn't think Trump would do the unhinged things he said he'd do. What the heck? And he writes, whoa, hold on a minute. President Trump has started appointing screwballs for important government positions, making plans for immigrant detention camps, and leaning authoritarian style on Republicans in Congress to obliterate checks and balances. Are you telling me the man who said he was going to do all these crazy things is actually going to do all these crazy things? What the heck? I was told by many Trump supporters that he's a showman who talks tough, but when he gets into office, he'll govern like a sensible conservative, just like he didn't do the first time around.
Oy vey.
There's a lot of this is like heavy with snark, which is my favorite. He says, and now I find the next president is in fact going to let a certifiable nutball like Robert F. Kennedy go wild on American health and medicine. I mean, when Trump said he was going to let Kennedy go wild on American health and medicine, I assumed he was kidding around. And besides, I was mad that eggs are expensive. But now it looks like vaccines are going to become optional, and Americans will be told the best way to protect against infectious disease is to put a clove of garlic in your ear and avoid processed foods. Somebody called him, I can't remember now, Wormy McWhale head or something. I don't know. I got to go find it. Brain-worn whale saw or something. I don't know. I am shocked, I tell you, that a presidential candidate who spoke in run-on sentences that sounded like they were written by a dumb version of Jack Kerouac on Benzedrine Bender might have actually been telling the truth about his intentions. Trump is letting Elon Musk run the country because, of course, he is. I mean, just because Trump has spoken highly of Ramaswamy, had Musk more or less by his side since before the election, saying he would put Musk in charge of government efficiency, I never expected that. Oh, okay, this is starting to make sense now. Apparently, Trump did mean all the noodle brain things that he said over and over and over during the campaign, things that included being a dictator. But just for the first day, rounding up millions and millions of immigrants, stashing them in detention camps, punishing his political enemies, giving police officers greater immunity, implementing massive tariffs, and pardoning the convicted January 6th attackers. I guess I just thought him saying those things and the media reporting on those things and the pundits warning that Trump will definitely do the things he keeps saying he's going to do. Well, like I said, eggs were expensive, and I figured, nah, he's not going to do all that. Boy, do I have expensive eggs on my face. Come on, that's the line of the election cycle. He finishes by saying anyone shocked by what Trump's doing just wasn't paying attention. It's strange how all the things we were explicitly told would happen are now going to happen. It really makes you think, or at least wish that you had done so sooner. Thank you, Rex, for channeling me. Oh, by the way, another especially clumsy Russian ballet dancer. You know, they're notoriously clumsy.
They're very
clumsy.
Yes. Accomplished ones especially.
It's totally unrelated story. He happened to be an outspoken critic of Putin's invasion of Ukraine. He fell 60 feet to his death.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Those windows in in Russia.
Yeah.
They're very open.
They are.
Yeah.
It's not like Vegas where they're all closed. and you can't
Russian
get out.
authorities, you'll be shocked to know, labeled the fall an accident. Because, of course.
Not even suspicious.
Blaming
Just-
painkillers.
Mm-hmm. He had a couple kids. He was married to a ballerina.
Yeah.
Stood too close to an open window.
See, you're in Russia, you don't stand close to window.
No.
Stay away from window.
Ballet dancers, very, very bad balance.
Terrible. 14 pirouettes
Okay.
in a row.
I'm sure this is nothing to worry about. Vladimir Putin signed a decree Tuesday expanding the conditions under which Russia might deploy nuclear weapons in reaction to Biden arming Ukraine. Russia warned that this has effectively brought the U.S., Britain, and France into direct confrontation with Russia. No, it hasn't. But they're going to pretend it has. And that only Trump can fix all this, of course, by just very nicely giving him Ukraine.
Europe.
For Christmas.
Just Europe.
Okay. Do you think this is going to be at all relevant? Matt Gaetz accused of participating in, is it up to 10 drug-fueled orgies? Oh, by the way, someone brought up, give me 12. Somebody brought up, Madison Cawthorn.
Oh.
Oh, poor
Come back,
Madison.
all's forgiven. You were obviously right.
He was.
All I'm going to say is somebody owes Madison Cawthorn an apology because y'all ran him out of town. He tried to tell y'all about these sex parties, but nobody wanted to believe him. And I'm not making light of this situation, but I remember when I heard the craziness coming from Madison Cawthorn, I was like, now that don't seem quite right. But then hearing it confirmed today, I'm like, he was right all along and nobody wanted to listen. But what
So between 5 and 10 sex parties, where group sex situations, quote unquote, where illegal drugs were consumed. One of the women claims to have seen Gaetz having sex with an underage friend up against a games table. Oh, we're getting into pinball.
That was air hockey. I think it was
air hockey.
It was air hockey. It was air hockey. Yeah.
Gates' lawyer said Merrick Garland's DOJ cleared Matt Gaetz and didn't charge him. Are you alleging Garland is part of a cover-up? No, just a see. But sorry.
You know what? I'm glad it was air hockey and not cornhole.
Yeah.
Okay, let's.
What?
The attorney representing two women who provided testimony to federal and House ethics investigators revealed details about his alleged misconduct in a bid to push the committee to release the report. He explained about that they've talked about the sex parties. He said, again, he said this earlier. She was in high school, and there are witnesses. It's, even for me that marinates in this, I sometimes wake up going, this is not seriously the Attorney General of the United States. We are seriously considering. Elon Musk, by the way, continuing his disinformation. He said underneath his big head of hair, that Bob's Big Boy hair, Matt Gaetz has a big brain and is ready to become the hammer of justice. He tweeted this at like 2 a.m. Matt Gaetz has 3 critical assets that are needed for the AG role: a big brain, a spine of steel, and an axe to grind. He's the Judge Dredd America needs to clean up a corrupt system and put powerful bad actors in prison.
And someone with an axe to grind is the last person I want.
Should be Attorney General.
Yeah.
Oh my God. One more.
I also don't think Gaetz doesn't get it because of a sex scandal. I think Gaetz specifically doesn't get this because he's an ass to people, and people in the Senate don't like him. And to Scott's
had the
point,
same problem.
Wait.
I think
To
you're
Scott's
right.
point, they only elected, for all of you at home, every 6 years. Some of them don't really care, and it's the Senate. All 100 of them think they should be president. Democrat or Republican. So I think that's the reason, because he has attacked a lot of them personally on Twitter is why he don't get it.
Yeah. No, it's true. What's his name? Mark Wayne, Jim Bob, John Boy.
Mullen.
Yeah.
Carrington.
Yeah. He was on spouting these wacky vaccines cause autism, nonsense on Meet the Press, right? Just right wing, just douchebaggery. And then they get to Matt Gaetz and he's like, oh no, not him. He's a hole. They literally, everyone hates him, Republicans and Democrats.
Even Trey Gowdy, I think it was last night on Fox News, said, no, Republicans should not be nominating this guy.
Yeah.
Skip to Aaron Burnett and the lawyer for some of the ladies.
Does your client have any idea as to whether Matt Gaetz knew
She
about
testified,
the age?
yeah, so she testified to the House that Representative Gaetz did not know her friend's age at the time they had sexual intercourse. And when he found out about her age, that Representative Gates stopped having sexual intercourse with her, and he only started the sexual interactions later on when she turned 18.
Oh, okay.
One more.
Just to be clear, your clients knew he had paid also your clients for sex? He was paying for sex?
The testimony before the House was yes, that Representative Gates paid my client, both of my clients, for sexual favors throughout the summer of 2017 all the way to the beginning of 2019.
And how did he pay them?
Those were primarily through Venmo and PayPal payments. There was one payment through Representative Gates' adopted son through his PayPal.
Nestor.
That's
Nestor.
Good old Nestor.
Nestor's back. You know, he's an empty nester. Will we ever discover the mystery of Nestor? So, all right, let's skip to
Well, for those who have just tuned in, should we explain who Nestor is?
It was his ex-girlfriend's brother.
Yeah.
He's his adopted
son.
That
adopted him when he was, 17 or something?
Yes.
17.
Yeah.
As you do.
Uh-huh.
One thinks there might be more loafers to drop there. Okay, let's Anna Navarro on this very subject.
When Speaker Johnson said we're in a different era, he's right. We're in the Trump era. And the laws and the statutes and the protocol that applied every other time just seems not to apply to Donald Trump. I mean, remember, let me just say this. I remember, you and I are old enough to remember, when Bill Clinton had two attorney general nominees, Zoe Baird and Kimba Wood, who were eliminated, who had to withdraw because they had employed illegal nannies.
Oy.
Matt Gaetz is accused of sleeping with a girl who's almost young enough to need a nanny.
It really is. It is just OMG. All right, before we say goodbye to 2024 and the rule of law, I wanted to quote our friend Barb McQuaid. She said he has an opportunity to hand the incoming Trump administration a mess long after he's gone. She said Jack Smith can have a lot more control if he ends it on his own terms. There are a couple things he can do, she said. One, as you say, is to issue a full-throated report on both of the cases, January 6th and the documents case, those two things. The other thing he could do is, I don't know if this would withstand all the machinations of that Trump will certainly try to put up against it. He could try to dismiss the cases without prejudice and make the argument later that the statute of limitations is told during Trump's presidency and revive the cases in 2029. I think there's a 50-50 shot that succeeds. So if he ends it now with prejudice, that keeps those cases alive. It would put the Trump administration in the untenable spot of either accepting that or having to refile the cases just so they can dismiss them with prejudice. We'll have to we'll talk to Glenn about all that. A lot of legal machinations, but it just, I think it remains incredible to a lot of us. Mm-hmm. What's the Breaking Bad thing? That he can keep getting away with all this. Yeah. that seriously, you can commit crimes.
He can't keep getting away with it! He can't keep getting away with it!
That he could commit crimes this serious.
Yes.
The overthrow of the United States government, the theft of dissemination of classified documents, and we're just like, oh, well. Mm-hmm. Bacon was expensive. Okay, I'm going to alternate bacon and eggs. I don't need either of them, but I just, I want to spread the blame around. Okay, 47. My favorite thing of this week is JoJo from Jersey calling eggs the C word. Don't know why. We're all working through our grief in different stages. Yeah. All right, Charlie Pierce is no in casa. We will see if we can find him. But we have Victor Shi. He can talk about the Ute vote coming up. 48 minutes after the... Good morning, Glenn Kirshner.
Good morning, Steph.
You tweeted or threaded, justice matters to me, justice matters to us. If it didn't, I wouldn't be so angry. When we experience injustice, our anger proves the point that justice does matter. If we give up belief, that guiding principle, then we'll have lost all hope of repairing what's broken. This obviously has been bumpy ever since the election. I have to say, Glenn, I've defended you and other legal analysts a couple times because people, I'm sure you've seen this, people go, oh, they were wrong about everything. Well, we never expected we were founded on no one is above the law in this country. Pardon you and all the other legal experts for living in a world where we actually are a nation of laws, not men. But we're not there. We're not there anymore.
Yeah, every time Trump does something lawless or the Republicans support him in doing something lawless. It turns out I was wrong, because what I do, Steph, every damn day is I explain how the law is intended to work. And the fact that Donald Trump seems to be above the law, seems to be Teflon, does it make me wrong? Yeah, because I predict that someday the law will rise up, will be prodded into wakefulness, and will apply to Donald Trump the way it applies to you, me, and everybody else. So I will cop to being wrong, but you know what? I'll never stop explaining how it's supposed to work, because someday it's going to come back, Steph.
Yeah.
Was it easy for the folks in World War II, the soldiers, when they were fighting this same sort of, coming dictatorship? No, it wasn't. And it's not going to be easy for us, but we're going to keep fighting.
Yeah. I mean, Glenn, by the way, you were on the defending Merrick Garland to a degree for a while, saying he got appointed late and a lot of, obstruction, blah, blah, blah. But oh my God, Glenn, I gotta wonder how he felt yesterday about dropping the case against Matt Gaetz.
Yeah.
Who apparently is going to replace him.
And that's why at some point I said, listen, Merrick Garland was a good man. I believe he is a good man. Right. But it turned out he was the wrong man for the moment. And I've been saying this for well over a year or longer, because he did not aggressively go after the folks who tried to end American democracy. And this is where we have landed because of it.
Yeah. Now Trump is going to pardon them all. I mean, here's the thing. I have no patience with people that pretend to be surprised. It's like he told you he's going to do all this. Everyone's now like, is he really going to? Oh, my God. It's like, yes. I mean, the ethics report, I mean, obviously, who is it? John Cornyn said, in a normal world, he said, what is it? Yes, John Cornyn said he does not think there should be any limitations on the committee's vetting process for Matt Gaetz, and the highly damaging ethics report should be released to them. And obviously the committee has the power to release it, but of course there's Jim Jordan going, nope, that shouldn't be released. Is there even going to be a vetting process, or is he going to just get a recess appointment? I mean, because now Thune seemed open to recess appointments yesterday already after he said he wouldn't.
Right.
Yeah, Steph, there were about 12 questions packed into your one question there. And
No. Everything's very dense.
Oh, she's been like a pinball machine this morning, Glenn.
She's been the pinball in the machine all morning.
It's all balled up into one dictatorial mess right now, and we have to kind of pull it apart.
Yes.
So listen, Matt Gaetz is unqualified. He's a hack. He's dangerous. And I actually think this was a bit of a ploy to try to give him cover so he can say, I'm going to be nominated to be AG. I have to resign from Congress right now. Well, guess what, Steph? Marco Rubio was nominated for a cabinet position. He didn't resign. Steph, what the hell, sir? Elise Stefanik was nominated. She didn't instantly resign.
Of course, to outrun the ethics report. I mean,
it's trying to try to bury the ethics report, but it will see the light of day. I just don't think Matt Gaetz' nomination will continue to see the light of day. He'll withdraw at some point when, the ethics report has been buried in that way. The Senator Cornyns of the world won't get to see it. All of these games that are being played by Donald Trump are just distractions. But here's the thing. I think because of the disarray right now inside the Republican Party, particularly in the Senate, because Trump is appointing dangerous hacks, people who will do affirmative damage to the American people, the Senate is not going to go into recess.
morning, Glenn Kirshner.
Good morning, Steph.
You know, you tweeted
Site-wide.
Get it. Oh, I don't know if this is true, but okay. Terry says the "oh bitch please" quote.
Oh boy.
The line "oh bitch please" take your line of bolt down to the corner market and sell it there. Because this five and dime isn't buying your line today is from the 2011 film The Help.
No.
No, that's been suggested before, but
In
it's
the movie, Minnie Jackson, played by Octavia Spencer, delivers this line during a confrontation with...
No, it's not Octavia Spencer's voice.
No.
at all.
No.
That's not her voice.
This scene highlights... I mean, AI is often wrong, yes.
Yes.
But it sure seems confident here. Well, so are Republicans, and they're all wrong. Although confident. Okay, well, thank you anyway.
Computer says no.
Yeah,
Sorry.
no.
Sorry, AI computer. Raleigh, in Michigan says, Dear Steph, many in Michigan voted for Trump to send a message to Democrats that they were unhappy with the administration's support of Israel. Message received. Below are the messages from Trump and Republicans that clearly did not register. 1, banning Muslims from entering the U.S. 2, Trump moving the U.S. embassy to Jerusalem. 3, Republicans inviting Netanyahu to address Congress. Now, within a week of the election, Trump appears ready to appoint Mike Huckabee as ambassador to Israel. The message to Muslims from this new administration should now be clear: off and die. Literally. We'll talk to Dean Obadallah about that tomorrow, who is, as we know, part Palestinian, but I got to hand it to Dean. He was out there loudly saying you must support Kamala Harris and Tim Walz. Anyway, despite him having, his own feelings on the subject, but a lot of stuff to talk about. You and I have a lot to answer for white ladies. Stupid bitches.
I'm sorry.
Stupid bitches. Okay, Paul.
There was less of us this time than in 2016, so.
Still a lot of dumb bitches.
Still stupid.
Okay. Polly in Westchester. Hey, Polly, welcome.
Hey, how are you guys?
Good.
I just wanted to stick up for Chris and being friends with Trumpers. He's getting beat up a little bit. I have friends and family that voted for him 3 times. I just can't have that hate. And I love them. They don't get the same information that we get. So they're going to find out. And I just wanted to back Chris up a little bit.
Well, yeah, thank you, honey. And, it's, we always say, Trump is like the abusive spouse.
He is.
We watch Joe and Mika, we're like, oh my God. That's what we keep saying, when someone you love is with someone horrible.
Mm-hmm.
But they're your loved one, when they finally, come to Jesus, I guess, you try to welcome them back and not make them feel dumb. You just try to go, okay, yes, we try, because
progressives often have a way of making people feel dumb.
Because the need to, the urge to say "we told you so" is going to be so strong. But it's just what I'm saying is, if it's people you love, I guess you have to find a way to go, okay, And that's the problem. No one tells you when you're with the person, and then after they're all like, "Oh, well, we knew he was Satan. Sorry, we should have said something."
I've said things.
All right, Victor Shi, next on the Stephanie Miller Show.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
The official stem cell of the Stephanie Miller Show. Hi, Victor Shee. We've missed you.
I miss you too. I was gonna say I went from being named the official stem cell to dude bro. I'll take it. Great to
Because
see you.
none of us have kids, so we're all like, Victor, what's happening with the kids? So you just graduated from UCLA. You were working on the campaign, so you haven't been able to come on in a while. But so we started talking off air, and I wanted to save the conversation for on air because obviously that's a conversation, right, about Joe Rogan. Just give us your thoughts on all of this.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you. I think all of the sort of post-mortem analysis has been really exhausting to hear, but I think generally Joe Rogan wouldn't have helped. I don't think that he would have endorsed Kamala. I don't think that it would have really mattered. But I do think that it's worth having a conversation more generally about sort of where our media is right now in this Republican-controlled media ecosystem that keeps me up at night. I just wrote about this like last week, but when you look at sort of all the mediums of communication, radio, podcasts, cable news, state and local media now, it's pretty much all co-opted and owned by Republicans. And Democrats, I think, have a lot of catching up to do, and I think we have to think a lot about sort of where we go next in terms of where we convey our information, what that looks like, who it reaches, because right now, unfortunately, the most popular shows are all Republican, and I think Democrats have some catching up to do.
Yeah, it's interesting. First of all, the thing that disturbed me the most is that they called that news. I get my news from Joe Rogan.
Yes,
it's not news, but it is the ecosystem we're in. You're right, and I think Chris brought up. I mean, Mark Maron is a very popular podcast, and he's a left-leaning guy. So I listen. There's a lot of left-leaning, I think, talented broadcasters.
The Stephanie Miller Show.
Oh yeah, me. Me. I think primarily my point was me.
Of course. That means doy.
But like Joe Rogan, we actually talk about other stuff than politics, and so does Mark Maron. I mean, I think that's part of it. Is that as we were saying, I don't think anyone wants to hear just like talking points on either side.
Right.
But I agree with you that I think you cannot ignore the massive, like, not just racism, misogyny, but also disinformation. It'd be different if Kamala Harris lost on things that were true. We were just talking about the massive disinformation campaign that Elon Musk and Russia used. But Victor, I think part of it is why. And it's not just your age group, but why are people so what's the word, susceptible to believing these lies?
Yeah, I think it's twofold. I mean, you're exactly right on sort of it's all dependent on where people consume their information. There was this one graphic that I saw at post-election. I don't know which news source put it out, but it looked at who people voted for and which type of information they consumed. And when you look at younger audiences who voted for Trump, they consumed their information through YouTube and through these podcasts. And then the older you got, it was more newspaper and more cable TV, and they tended to vote more for Democrats. So that was really interesting to see. But to your point about why people are so susceptible, I think it's a fundamental sort of shift in our culture away from things like civics and we don't have information or media literacy. I mean, those are all very long-term solutions, I think, to this really immediate problem. But, states are doing a really bad job at teaching civics and how to consume information. I think that we have to start building that up, whatever that looks like, on the state level going forward.
Yeah. It's interesting because you're an educated guy. Obviously, you graduated from the wrong university, UCLA.
Yes.
No, that's the right one.
All
That's
the
where
time.
Mom graduated
I say
from,
as
so
a
it's
USC grad. But my point is, Victor, that, again, I know we deal with this whole liberals, elites, and they're talking down to people. I mean, to me, it's not even necessarily education because some of the smartest people I know didn't go to college. I'm not.
Totally.
It's just critical thinking skills.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? We were talking about the college protesters.
Yeah.
That, of course, in record time, they're all saying, oh, my God, what did we vote for? And, oh, we got played by Trump. And I'm like, no, not if you listen to anything he ever said. You knew that he would be a disastrous choice for Palestinians.
Mm-hmm.
But
there was a whole. I was stunned by. After the election, there was this image where it showed all the Google searches, and one of the things that spiked after the election was, "Who is president? Is Biden still president? Or can I change my vote?
Did he drop out? Did Biden drop out?
Did Biden drop out? Right. I mean, it's things like that where, and it just speaks to. I mean, the ways that people consume information are so different, and people just, if they're on Instagram, if they have this curated feed, or if they're on TikTok, they won't even come across political content, and so
Yeah, I mean, my point, I know what, I'm sorry, mommy's old. The point that I was thinking that went away is that Joe Rogan is proudly ignorant. Like he says, like, I don't really know, I'm just a dumb guy, I don't know anything. I mean, like it's something to be proud of, I guess. So that's the thing. It's like, yeah, I get it, that's where young guys are getting information, but, you know,
People relate
it's
to that,
almost
though.
like proudly ignorant. Like, oh, I don't.
People relate to that. Listeners relate to that.
But I mean, that's where you get the anti-vax conspiracy theories and anti-science nonsense, Victor. I mean, that's all I'm saying is how do we reclaim just facts?
Yeah. No, I mean, it's going to be a challenge. I think we need, I mean, luckily we have a really talented bench. I think we need punchers who are able to go on those shows and give them that narrative. I thought John Fetterman did a fine job on Joe Rogan before the election, but we just need more people on those networks. And I think talking about sort of not only Republicans and sort of how they're basically manipulating people and that they're actually not working for the people, but also being proud of what we stand for. I think there was a clip of Gavin Newsom from a few months ago who was saying how he noticed that Democrats are still a little bit too cautious when it comes to communicating and being proud of what they stand for. And I think we just have to be proud. We have to tell people that, look, these are the policies that are being enacted in these states, and we are fighting for you, and not shy away from that and not give ground to Republicans trying to, attack us for what we're trying to do. These are actually really important.
I mean, we talk about that all the time, Victor. Alpha liberals. Gavin Newsom's a great example. Eric Swalwell, Pete Buttigieg. But to the point, they go on Fox News. To the point, we were saying there was some reporting that it was Kamala Harris's staff that was reticent about her going on Joe Rogan. I think that is a mistake because I think she was great in every arena she went into. Fox News, Howard Stern, you name it. So I think she would have done great on Rogan. So, in that sense, like you say, I don't think he was going to endorse her, and I don't think largely his listeners were going to vote for her anyway, but I think she would have done great. So I think you're right. We can't be afraid.
I think we just have to show ourselves consistently. And again, she was Kamala Harris did the very best she could with what she was given and the circumstances she was in. I mean, 107 days to go across the country and introduce herself to an electorate and dig herself out of a very deep hole. I mean, that is a very impressive thing to do. But I think going into 2028, we just have to be on there more consistently and show them that we can, handle those types of interviews because, like you said, she was great on Brett Baer. She really killed on those interviews. And I just think it was a matter of time and maybe circumstance, but we can start early this time.
Alan Lichtman, the historian who's, predicted every election correctly, based on, I don't know, the real world that we've all lived in up until now. And he said the same thing I've been saying, Victor, the biggest factor in this election was disinformation, the massive amount of disinformation. Because, like I say, it's not that the economy is not an issue or the price of things, but it was disinformation and fear-mongering that won the day on the economy or any other issue. Like I said, if we had lost a fair fight on the issues like politics always has been, but he said this massive amount of disinformation, and it goes to your point about the information ecosystem we live in now. So, I don't, again, we've been saying for a zillion years that like wealthy liberals have to fund infrastructure like they've done on the right. But
totally. No, we need the money that they have because they've invested so much money in that.
Yeah. You said blah, blah, blah. Oh, you were talking about the nominees. You threaded, this is now up to Republicans to decide whether these nominees will be confirmed to their positions. History will be watching them. Our nation will be watching them. Don't let your eyes off Republicans. We will remember what they do. What they count on, Victor, fascists, autocrats, whatever, is for us to give up, right? Us to just stop fighting and go, oh, God, it's too depressing, and I'm just going to tune out of politics. That's exactly what they want, right?
Yeah. Exactly. I mean, and I was just telling before we went on air, I was like, I'm too depressed to even watch the news. But I think now is actually important for all of us to stay engaged and to keep up the fight because you're right. I mean, all of these nominees, I mean, you think about Matt Gaetz running DOJ or RFK Jr. running HHS. I mean, they're so unqualified. And at first, glance, it's like, we seem powerless. We don't have the House control. We don't have Senate control. We're sort of just out there, but I think it's really important for people to use their voices, to go on platforms like Blue Sky and create an account and do something because I think we need that more than ever now, and we cede seed ground to that movement.
We've been everybody's been talking about Joe and Mika going groveling to Mar-a-Lago, and then in record time, Trump slamming them for doing it. And, again, ratings at MSNBC are way down because, first of all, they didn't like the beating up Biden, that's why Lawrence O'Donnell was the only one whose ratings were up. And now they don't like this beating up on Democrats and blaming Democrats solely for what happened, and now going and, kissing up to Donald Trump. So, no, go ahead. Just your thoughts on all that.
No, I mean, first of all, that the Mika Joe situation is unforgivable, and it's this normalization of Trump that apparently they still haven't learned their lesson, and we have to somehow teach them. But it is. I think people are getting exhausted of sort of cable, and I think they're having a reckoning. But all of us, we can do our part and really get that information out there just every single day, getting the facts out there, and you're doing that. So,
thank you, honey. Well, the reason I brought that up just quickly is because that soundbite we played. The kids said, where do you get your information? Social media, and so this is like Scarborough's defense this morning is, social media is not real life. And, people are very supportive of what we did. No, Joe, people are not. That's why your ratings are in the toilet, So your point is well taken, Victor. We got to fight everywhere. I just got on Blue Sky. I'm on Twitter. I'm not ceding any ground. I'm on Threads. I'm on everywhere. So I think you're right. Don't, do what you need to do to take care of yourself, but get back in the fight.
Grandma's doing the social media.
Grandma's doing, I don't even know how it works yet.
It's fun.
Okay. All right, Victor, thanks for, it was so much. We just really, honestly, I know you're a youngin', but we look up to you. You're just so inspirational.
Well, he's also very tall, so you have to
look up to him.
He is very tall. Yeah. Love you, Victor.
You guys. I love you guys.
Thank you guys.
I'll look forward to the next time.
All right,
Thank
me
you,
too.
Victor.
Thanks, Victor.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye, guys.
See you soon, honey.
Hey.
fact a man-eater. Okay. Can I just say, about all the, I mentioned this yesterday, but among all the ways that Donald Trump has, I just think, divided us like never before in this country, the gender thing, as I was saying, I know we joke. I am a la. Lesbian. However, I love men. A lot of people closest to me in my life, my whole life, professionally, personally, are men. And I think it's just, this whole thing, right? This whole, like, we were just talking to Victor about the douche bro thing, and Jody and I yesterday talked about how it's definitely rapey. It's definitely
rapey.
Homophobic at times. It's, but also, you know, it's just this whole, like, your body, my choice. Where is this? Nick Fuentes. A white supremacist who's praised Hitler, once described his ideal wife as 16 years old, tweeted, I'd just like to take the opportunity to thank men for saving this country from stupid bitches who wanted to destroy the world to keep abortion. Your body, my choice forever. That was the very inclusive language that he used right after the election. Those are the people they'd like us to reach out and to heal and to be nice to them now. But anyway, I just think it's a shame that they've caused like every division imaginable, right? Yeah. Let's go to Shirley in D.C. Hi, Shirley.
Oh, hey.
Oh, hey.
Yes, I'm sorry. I was watching this show.
That's all right.
I just called. Thank you for taking my call.
You're welcome.
Steph, and I had a great time at the Durham and the Atlanta show. You guys were awesome.
Oh.
But the reason why I'm calling is because I want people to back off Chris, okay? Let's just learn to live and let live. That's why we're in the state we're in right now. Everybody's too quick to judge everybody.
Yeah, and he has pertussis and also probably pleurisy. So just back off him at least today.
And parentheses.
Well, I'm a limey, so get him some limes. He'll be all right.
No, it's true. I've been saying this over and over. We got to give everybody a little bit of grace, a little bit of space. This is just not an easy time for everybody. Hey, let's talk about the new head of the FCC.
Okay, does that mean we can start swearing? Because they want free speech.
Yeah. His pick to run the FCC, Brendan Carr, took to social media and threatened broadcast media. That's a good start. With upcoming government regulations to make sure it's acting in what he deems the public interest. Oh, that doesn't seem too... he wrote the, what do you call it, Project 2025 section on the FCC. You know, the thing that Trump has never heard of and doesn't have any idea what's that. Okay. Carr thanked Trump online and said, we must dismantle the censorship cartel and restore free speech rights for everyday Americans. Okay, I was unaware we had lost our free speech.
Well, no. We are not allowed to speak every word that we would like to speak, so technically we are censored by the government.
Well, that's only because we're on terrestrial radio stations as well as satellite.
But he's going to run the terrestrial. He's running the FCC, and he wants us to not be censored. Right. So therefore...
You know what I've always said? The airwaves, the public airwaves, do not belong to me or to Sean Hannity. They belong to the American people.
Exactly.
And that's what... Okay. Hi, wealthy liberals.
But he's also...
Buy radio stations, buy everything. Do a podcast, whatever you want, infrastructure for progressive... entertaining progressives.
He's also talking about regulating social media, which I completely disagree with.
Yeah. 29 minutes after the hour, Stephanie Miller Show.
Hey all, Glenn Kirshner here. Please enjoy this video on the Political Voices Network.
So, one headline, Protecting Democracy from Trump now in the hands of Congressional GOP Supreme Court. Your panel mate Saturday night in LA was Adam Schiff, who he has pledged to prosecute, and people like him, Liz Cheney, whoever he decides. Yeah. What happens when you have Attorney General Aileen Cannon, I don't know, Jeff Clark, whoever? I mean, what happens when he tries to prosecute people that have committed no crimes?
Yeah, the latest name I saw floated was petty criminal Matt Whitaker, who was Attorney General for a hot minute previously, right, before Bill Barr took over and was even worse. What happens is we still have the institutions of government, DOJ, the military, populated with largely honest, ethical people doing the work of the American people. And there will be resistance. I don't know if that resistance will hold, because they may be driven out, they may be fired, they may be, dragged out by the scruff of their neck by Trump's soldiers. But this is going to be a daily battle, and we're going to have to fight it night and day against the coming darkness and corruption. And we will, because you know what? Honor in the fight, Steph, win, lose, or draw, regardless of the odds. There's honor in this daily fight, and that's why we're going to keep it up.
Yeah. Well, who was it? Tolstoy, somebody was quoting, but, it's just wrong doesn't suddenly become right. You know what I mean? Just because more people voted for it this time, just to your point, so a Republican lawyer who Trump is reportedly considering for Attorney General, what's his name, Mike Davis?
Yeah.
On X, when Trump won, tweeted, "Unity, we have the votes, and they tried to kill Trump." He said, "Here's my current mode. I want to drag their dead political bodies through the streets, burn them, and throw them off the wall." He declared America isn't worthy of Trump and that Liz Cheney should lawyer up.
Yeah, well, let's see if that's the kind of guy that the Senate will confirm. See, listen, Donald Trump, I don't believe Donald Trump cares one whit if he converts our democracy into a dictatorship or if it remains a dictatorship. His calculation will be, how can I maximize my profit? If I can maximize my profit in a dictatorship, let's do it. If I can maximize my profit in a democracy, I'm happy to leave America as a democracy.
I hope he's
I don't think all the Republican politicians necessarily are enamored of the idea of converting American democracy to a dictatorship. So listen, we're going to find resistance anywhere we can in all corners, including across the aisle. And I do believe Trump is going to overplay his hand because he's nothing but miscalculation.
Well, I hope he's lying about everything like he was last time. He didn't do any of the things he lied to us, that is millions of people, I think I was saying to Chris yesterday, what breaks my heart too, is we already fired him once. Millions of people knew then what a crappy job he did as president. It's just, I think it's so interesting. Let me finish this, Max Burns, and get your take on it. He just said, the president, he now inherits a nation deeply weakened by his own toxic brand of politics. Our divided and exhausted nation will now need to fend off the constant extra-legal whims of a president who also thinks the Supreme Court is functionally immune from prosecution for any act he undertakes. If Trump's first term was any indication, we won't need to wait long for the next constitutional crisis. Believers in the rule of law are in for a rough 4 years because though Trump contradicted himself countless times during this marathon campaign, he never wavered in his distaste for the rule of law or his admiration for strongman autocrats. Members of the press can expect Trump to at least try to make good on his oft-repeated pledge to rewrite the nation's press freedom and libel laws. The rest of us will be along for a bumpy and chaotic ride.
I don't got no taxes on my tips now.
Yeah,
so
you do.
Thank you, Donald Trump. Love you. Pookie. You guys both vote for Trump? Yeah. I've been working at the same restaurant for 4 years. I've been a waiter, I've been a busser, I've been a bar back. I just don't, all the taxes, can I curse? No, I'm not.
Oh, curse as much as you would.
They you up, man.
So he thinks that he's not going to be... April is going to be a big surprise.
He thinks it's
for
changed
him.
already, even though Trump's not in office. But
And he has no control over that. That would be a legislation thing that would have to happen.
Because disinformation's not a problem. I told you my Uber driver 2 days after the election's like, well, all I know is my money's doing better. I'm like, Joe Biden's still president. Oh my God. Okay.
And they will start naming bonuses as tips, where CEOs and those that get, quote, bonuses are now tipped, and so they won't have to pay taxes on their tips. That's what he's going to do.
Okay. Of all the dividing that Donald Trump has done, we were talking about this whole gender gap. Sorry, did I say gender gap?
You said gender grab.
All right. That's what Matt Gaetz does.
Yes, he grabs the genders.
Yes.
Yeah, no, exactly. It's just all the way to the top of the Trump administration, just rapey, creepy. So this story, McKenna, who is 24, lives in a rural conservative state, recently got back on dating apps after a year of finding herself. She's had 2 first dates planned this weekend. After Trump won the election, though, she canceled both. She said, it's heartbreaking to know that in this country you only matter if you're a straight white man. It's just devastating we're at this point, so I will not let another man touch me till I have my rights back. The basic idea, women swear off heterosexual marriage, dating, sex, and childbirth in protest against institutionalized misogyny and abuse. I mean, when you've got Nick Fuentes calling people dumb bitches and saying, your body, my choice, and they're the ones saying, oh, come on, calm down, get over this. Let's all heal and come together. No, you know what? Go to your own websites and find your women. That's what you do. Mm-hmm. Right?
Right.
You've heard of Asian Friend Finder, Black Cupid, and J-Date. There's even wherewhitepeoplemeet.com. But who has the time to go swimming through that huge gene pool? You've got better things to do. Announcing wherewhitepeopledatetheircousins.com. Where White People Date Their Cousins has the patented family tree selection engine that helps you sift through all your potential mates who don't share your interests, your passions, your paternal grandmother.
I met Billy Ray on Where White People Date Their Cousins, and we realized all those family reunions just weren't enough.
Amber Jean was a lot more fun than when we were playing G.I. Joe meets Barbie in the sandbox 20 years ago.
Where whitepeopledatetheircousins.com. Available now in these 31 red states. From the people who brought you Knott's eHarmony, Sudate and Date, and Christian Mengele.
Come on, it's funny, Sudate and Date. Where do you go, Hitler Burger, on a Sudate and Date?
That's right. Doy.
All right, I have been talking about, in honor of Kamala Harris, to try to lift someone up instead of beat them down, because we were all very, very exhausted and raw. On that subject, I suck. I suck balls. I just want to say that right now. I totally missed yesterday. Margaret said, Steph, my sister Kate from Milwaukee is a huge fan of yours. Our beloved Kate from Milwaukee. Mm-hmm. She made that beautiful blanket for me upstairs. Mm-hmm. She and her husband Scott have been through a horrible, horrible year. People are going through a lot of stuff outside politics, so just remember with that people are going through stuff and maybe need a lift. I'm reaching out to ask a big favor. Kate turns 50 November 18th. I meant to do this yesterday. I suck. Yesterday. Is there any possible way you could do a special shout out with a nod to her husband Scott as well? Happy birthday, Kate.
Happy birthday, Kate.
Late. The Sexy Liberal Tour hit Chicago on August 17th. Kate and Scott were lined up with front row tickets to the show. I remember this. Kate called at 7 a.m. That morning. Scott got the call. There was a matched kidney. Of course, they dropped everything, but still thought of others and transferred their tickets to a friend so their amazing seats wouldn't go to waste. Kate has been my biggest supporter and protector my whole life. They deserve a little sunshine. If you're still reading this, thank you, Maggie. Thank you, Maggie. And happy birthday, Kate. And thank you for all the love and support. And I'm sorry. I have friends going through health stuff. It's just, people are going through other stuff that makes then all this, political stress on top of it. I ran into the beautiful Mary Lou Hamill. She said Mark's been really depressed. Mark worked his heart out in this election.
Yes, he did.
And left it all on the field.
Yeah.
And there are people just, you think, oh, they're rich and famous. They're not going to be affected. Everybody is.
They're
is
people.
Affected. Yeah. Jorita in Washington. Steph, one good thing is I found your show on Free Speech TV. Welcome, all the former Morning Joe viewers. I never say I'm not an opportunist and a capitalist, despite being a liberal. I'm also signing up for other podcasts that align with my beliefs. Midas Touch, Brian Tyler Cohen, Great Choices.
He's coming on very soon, too.
Yes, he is.
I just
Yeah.
saw.
Mm-hmm.
Great Choices. Dean Obadala will be on tomorrow. Support Sirius XM Progress here with John Fugelsang, Zerlina Maxwell, Michelangelo Signorelli. So many great talents. As one of my friends said, the Great Reckoning is coming. I'm still friends with a few Strumpers. For me, I find it's better to keep friends close and enemy friends closer to see how they react to the carnage coming our way and help convince them and others to change their thinking and understanding. Also, not just disinformation, but not educated on the issues. I was deleted by a friend who thought Roe v. Wade was signed off on by Biden-Harris. OMG, sigh, WTF. So thanks for your work and keep on flatulating the pork whistle. What?
No, that's not what... No.
Flatulating on the pork whistle.
No,
I believe we said Christine Ohm rode Corey Lewandowski's pork whistle. That was separate from a flatulent joke. Okay, encourage people.
Oh, now you
encourage
made Chris
people to
not feel
spread.
even more. He feels worse now.
He's already a little barfy.
Yeah.
Encourage people to spread listening to their liberal podcasts and media. I also plan to go back to the sidewalk Planned Parenthood to help with access. WTF, I graduated in 1974. I never thought I'd be fighting for this again. Well, we got to do it again. Sorry.
And you know what? If you can't afford to subscribe to the Stephcast, subscribe to the Happy Hour podcast.
There you go.
It's free.
It's absolutely free. Just search for Stephanie Miller's Happy Hour in your favorite podcast app. There'd be some commercials that you listen to. But
support our sponsors. Give us the 5-star reviews, right? Do downloads. That helps all of us.
Yes.
In this era, if you want to help fight disinformation, we're all part of it.
But of course, subscribe to the Stephcast only. Well, it has gone.
It is the best price podcast for the commercial-free podcast.
Yes. It's a commercial-free podcast, and so it condenses all 3 hours of the Stephanie Miller Show into about an hour 50.
There you go.
There you go.
Fantastic. Gideon in Tennessee. Hi, Gideon.
Hi, Stephanie. Hey, Chris, I wanted to say hi to you, man, and express my support for you. I only caught bits and pieces of the conversation, but to my understanding, somebody gave you a hard time for being a MAGA or choosing to remain to be friends with a MAGA supporter.
No, okay.
Important distinction.
He's not MAGA. He voted for Trump. He and I have had exactly 2 political conversations, and both of them have been very cordial and respectful to each other.
Right.
He is not MAGA.
Correct.
He is not a troll. I have lost friendships with MAGA people.
Yeah.
David is not one of them. And so that's why I get really, really protective of him. Because he's one of the good people.
He came to Durham Sexy Liberal and laughed.
Yes, he did.
Anyway.
So, that's why I get really protective of him, because he's one of the good people. And when people automatically make him the enemy or the villain, that's what gets me upset.
Well, and again, I would say my mom was before this version of Trump and post 34 felonies and rape, and I don't know how she'd feel now. She passed at 100 and she had Alzheimer's, and but I do know that she, again, I don't mean to make this so patronizing, but part of it is that, again, it was disinformation even then, because she watched Fox News 24/7, and she was also under a lot of influence from another Trumper family member, let's just say. But that's, so, Chris, this didn't start just this election. I remember how many conversations I would have with my mom when we still did talk politics, where she would say something and I'd say, well, Mom, that's just not true. Where'd you hear that? And I knew where. Fox News. That's where she heard it. So disinformation didn't start yesterday. But that's why I always say that's the larger thing, because my mom has a good heart. She's an amazing mom. I wasn't going to, not have a relationship with my mom over politics. But anyway, so how about this? By the way, speaking of reaching out, Marjorie Taylor Greene has repeated her demand that America get a divorce. She urged a national split from Democratic states. So is that part of the healing you're talking about?
Yes, that's part of it.
Yeah. To anybody that's criticized Trump. Yeah. She said, I'm still in favor of a national divorce if need be, if it's democratic. Governors plan to commit treason against our president and the majority of Americans, not majority of Americans voted for him, and let them destroy their own states. Okay. She's been talking about this forever. They just casually throw around civil war, national divorce, and then they're like, oh, how come you're being so mean and hysterical? Okay, guys, David in Palm Desert. Hi, David.
Hi, good morning, Stephanie.
Good morning.
Just real quick, I'm a Portuguese American. I grew up in the Bay Area. My husband is Mexican, and we've been together for 20-something years. In the last few weeks, I've just noticed that he'll speak Spanish to me in a restaurant, and sometimes I speak Portuguese or Spanish back to him. The dirty looks and even comments to us have started to step up. I'm retiring this year. We made the decision recently to sell our home and move to Portugal. It hurts me to see the comments, especially towards my husband, that we get in public. I mean, the Coachella Valley has a lot of snowbirds, so they're not all Californians.
Yeah.
Right.
And it's been a rough couple of weeks, but we made the decision. In fact, I'm driving right now to sell one of my cars, because we're going to download them by the summer. We expect to be in Portugal. It's not hard for me to get him Portuguese papers. I have them from my parents. Yeah. Portugal, well, it's not cheap anymore. It's a place where people remember what it's like to have a fascist government, and they don't want it.
Yeah.
And
David,
they have a
honestly, I wish every good soul would stay in the fight with me here in this country we love, but I get it. I mean, and it's not just videos you see everywhere on social media, on TV. Trump has emboldened people to act like racist, sexist, homophobic douchebags to other people in public. So, so you're not wrong about what's happening in our beloved country. But I hope every good person that can will stay in the fight with me here, because that's how love wins eventually. And anyway, I'm so sorry. Yeah. I'm so sorry for the treatment, and I wish you well. You know what? The most important thing is you get the Steph cast even in Portugal.
That's right.
Yeah, you can.
That's how you take a little piece of Americana with you.
They have cheap wine in Portugal, so we're looking forward to
That's
that.
even
there
better.
You go. Cheap wine in the Steph cast. All right, love you, David. Stay safe.
Thank you.
All right, bye-bye. I was telling you guys, I just thought, how we feel powerless, and I keep saying reach out to people, or just acts of kindness can counter. I don't know how else we take back this country, but maybe one person or loved one or act of kindness at a time. But I was telling a delightful story about me buying wine at the supermarket.
Yes, it was delightful.
A lot of wine. You bought a
lot
of wine.
Well, I'm stocking up for the holidays.
Sure.
I have company coming. I'm going to have a party. Anyway.
This weekend?
No, but a Hispanic man and his little boy sort of ran right in front of me. Checker was taking me somewhere, and so we tripped over each other, and I literally thought, oh, I think I almost broke my hip. I literally fell, but the little boy fell too. And so, but I just thought, I've seen all these videos of people being douchebags to each other. And if I were a real Karen, you can imagine her saying something, racist or whatever. I just got up and I hugged him, and I was like, buddy, are you okay? Oh my God, I'm so sorry. And he was so brave. He didn't cry. He
fell down and went boom.
Yeah. And, I don't think the dad spoke English, but I can't even explain it. There was this sort of language of just common decency. Mm-hmm. Just I'm so sorry. Is your little boy okay? Oh, you're okay. Okay. Just make it not a... Because I'm just saying, oh my God, I see these every day, these videos of people being just terrible to each other and feeling emboldened to just... Anyway, that's all. That was my little act of resistance yesterday. God. All right. I wasn't drunk either.
Really? I really don't believe that part.
I know you're thinking, oh, it's because you were happy.
Right.
No, I know.
No,
it was in the morning. You were here.
You drank in the morning.
I do not. How dare you?
You have.
Only a mimosa. That doesn't count.
It doesn't. Like a Bloody Mary.
No.
Doesn't count. Same with a screwdriver.
Right.
They don't. Those are morning drinks.
Very occasionally. On a plane. Not... Okay.
Oh, well, if your bedtime is 3:00 in the afternoon,
I don't drink in the morning. All right.
11:00 is still the morning.
I don't drink at 11:00. Oh my God, I'm back to hating him. I don't care if he's sick. Go chug some NyQuil, you bastard.
That's considered drinking too.
It is. There is alcohol.
There is alcohol in NyQuil.
There
exactly.
is.
49 minutes. Golly. Hi, Fernand.
Hey, Mama, how are you?
Well, as I say, MSNBC analyst, University of Miami professor. If my professors looked like you at USC, I would be so much smarter today, Fernand. But host of Strange Days podcast, which, wow, that's well named.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, we nailed that one, didn't we?
Well, you are a pollster, and here we are again, right? Where everyone's going, wow, all the polls and pundits were wrong, and again, not everything was close, obviously it looked like, but clearly, that's when people say to me, oh, you're just in your liberal bubble, that's why you thought she was going to win. It's like, no, first of all, I don't stay in my liberal bubble, and secondly, everyone thought she was going to win. A lot of prominent Republicans, a lot of pollsters, a lot of pundits. I mean, what has been your reaction since then, and et cetera?
Well, I mean, candidly, depression, depravity, right? all of the stages of grief. I think I haven't quite gotten to acceptance yet. I think that's coming. But look, I think you're right. The polls certainly did indicate that there was a good chance that she was going to win last Tuesday. Although they also were, Stephanie, stubbornly close, a lot closer than I think any of us were comfortable with. The fact that the race was even close at all, given how unhinged and how off the beaten path Trump had acted over the last 3 months, and especially 3 weeks, I think was a worrying sign. But look, it is what it is. He has won. These are dark days for our country. I am unfortunately not going to come on here and tell you that everything is going to be okay, because I don't know how things are going to be. And unfortunately, if past is prologue, I think they're going to be really, really, really bad.
Can I say this is why people like this show better than mainstream media? Because Fernand's like, well, I'm sniffing glue. How about you? People don't like try to, TV it up for our show. Yeah, you said this election, the most critical, important in our lifetime, was fundamentally about what kind of country and what kind of people we actually are. And I'm afraid now we have our answer. We always said that, right? It's not about who he is. We know who he is. It's about who we are. And, your other tweet was so interesting. You said, forgive them, founding fathers. They know not what they do. I think they do, Fernand. I mean, that's what's depressing.
In some respects, I think they do, Stephanie.
Right.
But when they actually see what's coming and the horror show and the nightmare that's going to become reality, remember, these are the good days right now. Joe Biden's still the president. So,
this one is still funny.
About how bad and anxious and sleepless your nights are. Wait 2 months from now. Then it gets real fun. But I don't think they're going to realize what they have done until it really starts to hit the fan. And that's going to happen within the first 2 to 6 weeks of when he takes power again.
Yeah. So, Fernand, I'm about done with my analysis of circular firing squad and who's to blame and what went wrong and yada yada. But we've got Chris Lavoie here. There are Chris is right and Chris is wrong T-shirts available at StephanieMiller.com.
And the Chris is right outsells the Chris is wrong ones.
Well, this is why Donald Trump is going to be president. Again, I still claim disinformation is the biggest problem. It's the right wing, not just Fox News, but right wing radio and podcasts. Because again, I keep saying it's not like anything we've ever been through, is it, Fernand? We didn't lose on issues. Americans still agree with progressive abortion measures. Still won in state after state. He won on a solid wall of lies. That, I don't know how you suggest Democrats counter. I mean, other than what we did. No, Haitians aren't eating dogs and cats. No, FEMA's not taking your money and giving it to illegal immigrants. No, they're not doing transgender surgery on your kid in school without your permission. Talk to us just what your take was on all that.
Well, look, I don't think you're wrong in suggesting that the information landscape that we're now in is just completely anathema and anachronistic to what Democrats have been used to basically since the founding of mass communications, right? And they need to blow that up, Stephanie. They need to understand that there are millions upon millions of voters that are living in self-created silo information bubbles where they're curating and they're getting specific types of information.
Yep.
They're unfortunately not all listening to the Stephanie Miller Show.
5 minutes after the hour. Hey, Jody, remember how I've all morning been going, hey, did you get that story? I have it right here. I had it.
Oh,
I have
good.
it. I have it. Don't help me.
Okay, good.
Here
Good
it
to
is.
know.
Once again, disinformation. What do I keep saying? With 25 focus groups and $45 million, advisors to Elon Musk pitted people against each other to cause a rift in the Democratic Party and depress turnout for Kamala Harris's campaign, according to a new report. They found Muslims were bombarded by ads promoting Harris's backing of Israel's, while Jewish voters were told she was supportive of Palestine. Left-wingers were told Harris has abandoned the progressive dream, while more conservative voters heard of her liberal agenda. Right? We were saying 2016 on steroids, you know? So part of it is, you know, again, I don't know how we better educate our side to not vote against or not fall for this stuff, this kind of disinformation, because it's all lies. It's not like they were, you know, Harris's actual policies. It's just... And now here we are. House Republicans have revived and are looking to push through legislation this week that would hand Trump's incoming administration sweeping power to investigate and shut down nonprofit organizations, including news outlets and humanitarian groups. Zeke Kyle, y'all. This time the GOP is attempting to advance the bill through regular order, meaning it can pass with a simple majority. I mean, I have no clue whether Attorney General Matt Gaetz is going to happen, for instance. As many as 30 Republican senators say they're a no on Matt Gaetz, but we've also seen this history of people just folding when Trump puts the pressure on them. And it's...
He's got compromat on them.
Yeah. I mean, and this is what's chilling. A national security lawyer with a reputation for defending potential whistleblowers has 3 words of advice for critics of Donald Trump. Take a vacation, he said. I'm taking him and his inner circle at their word. They have promised retribution and retaliation.
Yes, they have.
I mean, I worry for several of our high-profile friends. Fortunately, I'm such a peon, they may not.
They won't know who I am, so that's good.
We're like the Who's in Whoville compared to, you know. Yes, Yahoo Dore is my point, Chris. That's exactly my point. Chris in Phoenix, real quick before we go. Hi, Chris.
Chris?
Hi, Chris.
Chris ain't there,
Oh, he
man.
wanted to say if you voted for Trump, he would still dig you.
Oh.
Chris's hotness seems to, seems to cover a multitude of sins.
That woman that called in earlier seemed to write some fan fiction that I voted for Trump. So, maybe date her.
Chris did not vote for Trump. Okay.
Chris did not vote
We'll
for
see you
Trump.
tomorrow.